Hello everyone and welcome once again to the Clash Royale Crown Championship Global Series. My name is Trid and I'm here to walk you through the EU region for the full season. We've got a lot to get through, so we're going to kick things off right away by going over to our LED wall. We'll recap our journey. Of course, you already know it if you've been watching so far, the 20-win challenge. 27.4 million players competed in open play to get themselves a spot into one of our brackets. Then when you move into that phase, they had thousands of other people depending on what their bracket was and what day they went through. But the main thing was, if they won their bracket, they got that first place, they ended up in our elimination week. So the top 16 of Europe went head-to-head in a 4-group tournament. The 2 players from each group that topped the whole thing, they got here into our top 10, which is what we're halfway through right now. It's a double round-robin tournament to find the top 6 players to take through to our 4 finals, which will be a double elim bracket to crown the king of Europe. They're not only just playing for pride, they're not just playing for the glory. There's also some pretty good prizes to take home as well. So first place is $15,000. Moving along down the table, though, plenty of other prize pool available, but just for making it to this phase, $3,500. All they've got to do is make it to phase 4. So everyone's going to go home a little bit of a winner, some more than others. Moving on to our top 10, though, we all know some of these faces from here. If you've been watching the season, you'll recognize all of these so far. But if you're just tuning in for the first time in full, the ones to look out for: Soking, Lowe, Islaw, Tin, and Loupanji. They're the new additions to the full season, and they are not being pushed over yet, at least. Let's have a look at the leaderboard, though, what we've seen for the past 3 weeks of the action, and it's a Team Queso blowout. They've taken the number 2 and number 1 spot in the form of Soking and Surgical Goblin. Most people expect that to be the other way around, but that is correct. You got Islaw, Lowe, Loupanji, Baron. They're in the top 6, so they're not quite in the danger zone yet. Then looking towards the bottom, Donkey Kong, Adam, Nemsensei. Not looking so good for them, considering they're the old guard from spring. But let's have a look at today's matches, see how they're going to pan out. One thing to note, we've already got scores in for both of Adam's matches. In fact, he's actually been disqualified for this tournament. He wasn't able to attend due to unforeseen circumstances. That's only for today. He'll be back next week for what we know. But the matches to look out for from here: Loupanji versus Surgical Goblin. That's going to be one to watch. One of the most creative players in Clash Royale going against someone who's just hailed as the king. That's going to be one to watch today. But moving further down, like we said, Soking's already picked up the victory over Adam. Fun fact, Nemsensei has got his first victory because he was due for match 1 against Adam. But another one to look out for, I'm going to say Surgical Goblin versus Baron as well. These guys, Baron was the only one to take a match off of him in spring. Can he do it again in the fall and get some more wins under his belt? And then we got a back-to-back Tin showdown at the end. He's got Baron and Lowe. So match after match, he's going to need some endurance for that one. We're going to give you a little treat this week as well. If you look probably just around here, there's going to be a discount code for you to use in the Supercell shop. That's a one-time use code, only active during the broadcast. If you see something you like on the store, be sure to pick it up today during the show. Now, before we kick off to today's action, we've got to give you a little bit of variety in who you hear commentating over your matches. Of course, we have our foreign language streams. We have, of course, Spain, France, Germany, Italy, and Turkey. But the ones I'm going to throw you over to our English language broadcast team. Woody and Enchanted, take it away.
Thank you, Trid. I am in Chatton, and this is Woody, and we're going to be your English broadcasters for the CCGS Fall Edition. Woody, these matches so far today, a lot has been played out. A couple of people, low on the bracket. A couple of people high on the bracket. Also, we have Surgical Goblin and Soking at 1 and 2. Do you think they're going to stay there today?
Howdy, guys. And thank you very much in chatting. I'm Woody from Reddit Alpha, and that's a great question you pose. But I think that before we get into the nitty-gritty of these matches, we ought to share a little bit about the format for the games that are taking place today. As you all know, if you've been watching previously in the fall season, we have got bans introduced. Bans, completely new this season, but something that the players are starting to get a little bit used to. Here's how it's going to work. Each player is going to choose one card that they are going to be able to ban for the entirety of every game in a best-of-3 match against their opponent. They don't know which cards are going to be banned until about 5-10 minutes before that match. And Chatton, we've seen some interesting strategic choices being used here with this ban system being implemented. We've also seen some players who have been struggling to adapt. What are your general impressions, and tell us a little bit more about bans?
Well, the ban phase has been, interesting. Just like you said, it's only introduced for the fall season, was not here in the spring season. And there has been very interesting target bans for certain players. You've seen Logbait being taken away from a couple of players. You've seen Balloon being banned on Loupanji almost every single game. You've seen versus Nemsensei Poison being taken out or Pump, pretty much killing all of his beatdown aspects that he wants to play. And a little bit of these in certain players, like Nemsensei, has been affecting them in their gameplay, as you can see on the scoreboard. Other players like Surgical Goblin, Soking have been thriving in this ban system, not really being able to get banned out and really, asserting themselves as the top of this class so far through the first 3 weeks.
Definitely. And we saw the leaderboard earlier. It's been a struggle for the guys who came back from spring season. Even the ones who were able to requalify in stage 3 have just found kind of difficulty catching on. It's been kind of the outlier to have guys like Surgical Goblin be able to remain up there, up at the top. He's got a 6-2 record right now, very strong position, but he's just with the rest of the pack in those queso guys dominating the top of the leaderboard. You know what? Rumham gave a very interesting analysis on last week's performance by these 3 guys, and he actually did a little bit of digging into the matches themselves. Now, they do have, combined, I think, 6 losses among them.
Okay.
But 4 of those 6 losses were to each other. If you take out the games where they were competing against each other, they actually have a 14-2 record. Team Queso has really been dominating the European region. And if past is prologue, we are going to see it continue over the next few days. We've got 3 more days of matches in this current stage, stage 4, before we break out into the double elimination bracket at the end in stage 5, and that's where the real money gets handed out, right?
That is true. But in order to get there, you have to finish top 6 in this round robin stage of the tournament. So make sure, guys, if you're in the red, still have a chance to get out. It's not, you still have, just like you said, 3 more weeks after this week to really get out of that red spot. They're also fighting for that green preferential seating into the bracket stage, so that is also very important as well. So far, Soking and Surgical Goblin have that. Let's see how that's going to play out through the next remaining weeks. But there still are a couple of people floating around, especially, I would say, about 6, 7, they're about 3 and 4, still, completely in it, still can come out of nowhere. Even with, getting 3 wins right now, you're up at 6. You can still get into that preferential seating. So this week right here, I think is going to be, very important for the seeding.
Exactamundo. We've got 10 players competing in this region. The top 2 are going to get preferential seeding going into the next bracket. And what that means basically is that they don't have to play their first round in the bracket that comes in stage 5. What that means is you get basically free money at that point. You've advanced a little bit further than everyone else. Number 3 through number 6 will get a chance to move on. That's the blue region that we've been talking about, and we've shown you on the leaderboard before. That's you've made it. You didn't get great preferential seeding, but you still got a chance to compete with everyone else. It's those bottom 4 spots in the red that are going to be real trouble. You don't get a chance to move on to the bracket, and it's curtains from there. You can't qualify from World Finals. You won't get a chance to come back. You'd have to re-qualify again by going through that same process as before to make it here today. But in learning about these players and the strategies that they use, I feel that there is no better way to get a hold on the kind of decks and strategies that make a champion than by listening to one himself. Let's take a quick interview with Soking.
My name is Jesus Velas Ruiz. I'm from Spain, and my game name is Soking.
Soking gonna take down the tower on the right-hand side.
He's so king good.
I live in San Fernando. It's next to Cádiz. It's home of the traditional flamenco, and it's a fishing village. I am the only one from Spain playing the Crown Championship. I'm getting a lot of support of the people of my country. They want me to win this.
And Soking is now in the lead.
When I went to the first line event, I won the first place in the first place. After that, I played a lot of tournaments representing Team Queso. My greatest moment in Clash Royale was when I ended the second place on the ESWC Gamescom, playing on the final to Surgical Goblin. He got first place. He's one of my best friends. I think right now he's the best player in the world, but I think I can beat him.
That tower's going down. Soking has defeated Surgical Goblin. Wow.
My name is Soking, and the World Championship is mine.
Speaking about Soking, we're about to watch him play in the first match of today versus Loupanji. Soking currently sitting #1 on the leaderboard. Loupanji not that far off, 5-3. So it's going to be a very good match to start out today. I think this might be one of the best matches of today, Woody. And what do these bands look like?
Completely agree with you on that one in chat. And Soking has only lost one game this entire tournament series so far, and it was to Loupanji in that very first week. A 2-1 victory. Ewiz and Pekka were banned that time. This time we're going to have Balloon and Pekka being banned. Balloon, another very popular ban option. We've seen Balloon, Miner, Pekka, and I think Goblin Barrel are kind of 4 of the most popular choices there. Mega Knight's been banned a few times too. Targeting bans have been very popular options against players who are known for using very specific decks, but as the ban system has developed and as these players have gotten used to using a lot of different decks, we've kind of seen them going back to being a little bit more generalist. Going for Balloon and Pekka means that the big air-based pushes with Lava Hound, notably, are going to be a little bit weaker. Pekka, as the big, heavy anti-tank tank, she does a lot of damage and has a lot of hit points, will make it a little bit easier to play things like Golem or maybe even Giant.
Yeah. Golem, Giant. We're probably going to see a lot of Mega Knight as well. Mega Knight, one of the new cards coming into the meta just as, you know, the fall season has come together. And it's really turning into a staple in this tournament. Whenever anybody really bans a Pekka, their next go-to is the Mega Knight to continue with these control decks. We've been seeing a lot of Mega Knight Hog, Mega Knight Miner, and a lot of control variants with the Mega Knight in place of the Pekka. It's interesting now that, just like you said, the Balloon is gone, so the heavy aerial assaults like a Lava Hound plus a Balloon isn't really going to be that viable because there is no Balloon. So Lava Hound not going to be, you know, pretty much prevalent in here. Maybe you're going to have to run like a Lava Hound Miner maybe to like mix it up.
Yeah.
But I think just like you said, there's going to be, you know, maybe Golem come out here. There's a new Golem deck around with the Golem, Lumberjack, Night Witch, Bandit. That might come into play here. Kind of like this deck that Oxalate played in the NACCGS. It got kind of revamped over the week, and that's kind of what these players do. They take a deck that worked from, you know, somebody, you know, that's been new, and they improve it throughout the week in order to play. And at the top level here, they've been practicing all week with these decks, just making that one little minor tweak could be the difference between a win and a loss.
A minor tweak, maybe a little minor control action going on here.
Maybe.
Could be a little log bait. Those are 2 of the most popular decks up at the top of the ladder. You know, we just had the end of a season recently. The season in Clash Royale, normal gameplay, not competitive gameplay, not the tournament
the E-Barb gameplay.
Oh boy, not the E-Barb gameplay. Yeah, but with the end of the season, we got another chance to see some of the top decks that players have been turning to, even more recent than last week's CCGS. And I think there's a pretty good chance to see some logbait coming in here.
Oh, there's the Mega Knight.
At the left.
Well, there's the minor control. Just a minor.
Just the minor this time, though. Nice catch with that Bandit, but that Mega Knight is really pulverizing that tower. So I think that Soking's response here has been amazing, though.
Yeah, I think it is going to be minor Mega Knight control versus the new Golem deck, and there it is. The Lumberjack comes out, and this is the Golem deck that
Very
we were
interesting
just about.
You know, Lumberjack hasn't seen a whole lot of play, but recently he's been used in some very experimental decks, and look at that. Rage Night Witch, and the bats get it down to 360. That's a huge hit in chatting.
This deck that Soking has waits until double elixir time for it to get the tower almost down to 0 on one side in single elixir. That's going to be huge for him going forward. A pump coming down from Soking right now.
Ooh.
He's got a lot of control in this game.
The new flying machine and a split attack from Loupanji. Mega Minion will be able to take out that flying machine, but it looks like the Bandit had a little bit of trouble with that miner. Zap's going to finish that right side pump just about off, maybe 1 or 2 more drops of elixir in there. I think that Soking had another really good response there. It's really up to the attacking player to punish that elixir collector, and so far Loupanji hasn't been able to do it.
Yeah, and at this point, if you're Soking right now, you're just trying to get out your elixir collectors to bait out some minor damage, to really kind of just wait out the next 20 seconds of this match. Because once that comes out, the golem's going to be coming down, and really, it's almost going to be unstoppable for Loupanji to stop. I don't see how he's going to be able to stop this golem push in 10 seconds from Soking with the cards, especially with the flying machine. It's a very good deck. It's a very good card, but not really versus a big, heavy, tanky, style.
Agree with you on that one. I think that the advantage that Loupanji has, if he has anything that he can really hold on to here, is the fact that Soking doesn't really have any big spells in his deck. He actually will be forced to actually move in on that left lane with a Golem of all things, just to get another 360 damage off the tower. Either that or he's going to have to switch off and try to go for the 3 crown. Both options not really that good for Soking, but with the damage lead and a big Golem marching down the left lane, I think he's looking pretty good.
Yeah, that Golem is going to take out the tower on the left, no problem. This miner, though, getting a little bit of chip off. The Bandit, though, so good moving around the map. The mobility of the Bandit, definitely one of the best cards in the game.
Oh, a double Golem push. And this is an avalanche of destruction coming in from Soking. I don't see any way for Loupanji to shut this down. He is going to try to get one little crown down on the left side. He's got a decent chance of putting this in overtime. I think he is going to be able to do it, yeah, but how can you stop double Golem from Soking?
Oh, this Golem is doing so much work with the bats, though. No real answer. Miner.
Mega Knight getting no counter absolutely at all on the King Tower.
I mean, this isn't over yet. Bandit.
Oh, man.
Oh, but that King Tower.
Loupanji really tried to punish there, but I think that the Golemites eventually are going to get the work done up here on top. They're a little bit slow, but down to 144 on the top. Just like Soking doesn't have a whole lot of work left to do, huh?
Yeah, just like you said, though, there is no big spell.
So weak. So weak. They're almost down, yep, but no big spell. Here's the punish from Loupanji, trying to move in hard. Nice miner catches the Bandit. Oh, barely holding on.
I don't think he can stop this Golem, though.
No,
he's got to go for the tower or something. It's not.
Loupanji went for the kill and an admirable effort at that, but even death damage from this Golem will be enough to finish that right side tower off, and there you go, that's what happened.
That's a whole lot of health on a whole lot of Golem. Woof. Yeah, when that thing explodes, there's a lot.
Those
more than one.
Heavy bodies you love in chatting.
Dominated.
Soking, the winner of the first game. We've got a best of 3 match to continue. Soking leading now is a good turnaround story for him. Loupanji beat him in the first week, but now it looks like Soking has got the momentum. He's at the very top of the leaderboard, and he wants to stay there.
Oh, of course, especially 8-1 coming out. That is strong through your first 9 games. And here's the thing. You're coming in with all this momentum. The only person to beat you, you play in the first match of day 4, and you get your first win. You're sitting pretty now. And let's take a look at the end of this game as this Golem just slowly waddles down the right-hand side. Is there any way he could stop this Golem, Woody?
I really don't think so. It was a valiant effort, but there's just too many hit points on that thing. Loupanji does not have any Inferno-type troops or towers to be able to burn that thing up. And, he made a move for the King Tower there, just trying to finish off Soking when he was low on Elixir. The Mega Knight's a big, heavy beast, but distracted and just whittled down. Great zap spells, especially by Soking. I think that card, being the most popular on ladder and very popular in tournaments as well, is the key skill differential between a win and a loss in many cases. Being able to take out bats, reset Infernos, just reset the targeting of any troop or tower. Very, very useful and great value if you use it in the right situations at the right time.
Yeah, I think it might be the most valuable card in any deck in the current moment, because bats are everywhere and they are just so strong. If you don't take the bats out the moment they spawn, in essence, they're going to destroy everything. So I really think the zap is crucial. It took out the bats. It cleared out the way for the Golem, to get to the tower. And Loupanji, instead of having like an Inferno Dragon in that spot, he had the Flying Machine. And unfortunately, in that matchup versus a Golem, you're kind of going to need something to burn it down, like you said. And there was no Inferno Dragon. There was no Inferno Tower. And then at the end of the game, there was no tower.
None at all. Busted it down. And even that King Tower was only, what, like 200 hit points? Not even that.
It was not healthy.
That was almost a 3-crown from Soking. And
yeah,
played very well. You think we're going to see the same sort of decks coming back? I was hopeful for some log bait here. A little bit more control-oriented, but without P.E.K.K.A., it's hard to imagine Golem having any big counters.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. And log bait, you don't really want to run log bait into so much of a Mega Knight, you know, because then you got to deal with it jumping around, and one bad jump, and all of a sudden your Inferno Tower's dead, the miners on your tower chipping away, and then your Goblin Gang's eliminated. So I think they might play a little bit more safe. You might see Goblin... You might see log bait maybe,
yeah,
but I think they might still play it safe. You might even see a mirror match here with minor control from both players with the Mega Knight. I think it's just one of those cards that you have to have in your deck if you're going to have, you know, any kind of media, like big heavy tank. Otherwise, you're going to run the Golem like you said. So we're either going to see probably another Mega Knight or, you know, that Golem deck, which is just so strong, especially when you don't have a P.E.K.K.A. to shut it down. What do you really have to stop it? I mean, the Lumberjack comes in, it drops the Rage, then the Bandit comes swooping out, then you got the Mega Minion coming out, the Night Witch, the Bats spawning all over the place. Your tower, you know, almost gets eliminated, you know, just from that one push alone.
Yeah. Well, we're waiting for Game 2 just the same as you guys are out there. We're hoping to get it brought to you here pretty shortly. I think that you made a good point there, though, about the sort of counters that could possibly even exist in a deck to the one that Soking brought here. Double Golem marching up at you. You have to have a ton of damage to be able to dish out against it in a very short amount of time. With no P.E.K.K.A. in the game, it seems like Soking is just doing the better job of playing this ban system, and that definitely gave him a good advantage here. Loupanji's going to go for a mid-range push here, though. He's using Giant, one of your favorite cards, Jen.
Yeah, Giant. One of the cards that used to be, you know, the best in the game, but oh no, Giant Minion Horde gonna clean up this push, and it looks like we're gonna have a Golem again here. Golem versus Giant. If you are the Giant player, it is not going to be a fun time for you. But here's the thing, Loupanji does have a Minion Horde. There's not really many answers to clear out a Minion Horde and minions if he has the double minion variant of this deck. So Loupanji, that is what he does have. So Soking has got to find a way in this matchup to utilize the Zap with the Ice Spirit in order to take out these Minion Hordes. Otherwise, it's going to be a long day because these Minion Hordes are going to get a lot of value every single time Loupanji plays them.
We're hearkening back to Rumham's Doomsday Machine theory. Basically, the side that can create the bigger push is going to win in the long run. Golem pushes are definitely bigger than Giant pushes. And with the Lumberjack chopping this left side up, it's looking like Loupanji is running out of steam here. I don't know. Actually, Soking's defense is not really holding up. Great Fireball. That's going to be quite a bit of damage off the left lane. Over 1,000 dealt by Loupanji.
Yeah, the best thing is Miner plus Fireball are going to continue to shut down these pumps every single time he wants to play it. And now Soking is left with the decision, do I pump in the bottom right, have the Miner potentially kill my entire pump, or do I pump in the middle, giving him Fireball value?
There it is. Going to pump in the middle right there. You actually cannot Fireball the left side tower and that pump at the same time. But not putting it behind the King Tower means it's a little bit more difficult for the Miner to get there.
Yeah, Miner gonna chip it down though.
He's going after it, and Soking's got no defense for that Miner. Great elixir advantage for Loupanji here.
Bandit!
Almost dashes onto the tower, but Soking, with a clutch defense at the last second there, is still trying to pump up for that elixir advantage.
Yeah, he's gonna need it. Here comes a Night Witch on the left. There's a Giant as well, and this might be the push here that ends the game. Is there going to be a Miner coming out? There it is, Lumberjack.
Lumberjack not catching that miner is a great juke move by Loupanji. He's just going for damage here. He's not even worried about that pump at this point. If the game's over in 24 seconds, who cares about the elixir that you didn't even generate from the pump?
Yeah, and there it is. Here's the big push. The Lumberjack's going to get in front, which is what he wants. Nightwitch coming out as well. The Rage, 15 seconds, though, to get the tower. Minion Horde, just like we said, there's really no answer to clear out the Minion Horde. So much value, and with 5 seconds left, that golem might be big. It might be mighty, but it's not going to be able to take down that much damage on the tower.
No way. Got it to triple digits, but Loupanji just needs a little bit of spell damage on the left side, and he has won the game. Great job to him. Being able to punish those elixir collectors is absolutely crucial when you're playing a lighter deck like that. Loupanji did not want to have to spend another single second in double elixir time than he absolutely had to. The fact that he was able to get 1,000 damage off of that very first push and then just hammer in once more before a single golem could even come for his tower, that's what gave him the win there in Chatton.
Yeah, he kept on cycling. He knew he always had the Minion Horde that was going to be safe the entire game. What he did was he ran that giant with the Night Witch on the left. The miner goes right for the tower. He was not interested in that pump because that pump did not matter. Comes right in. The Lumberjack has to run all the way from the pump to the miner to get value. And let's look at this last push. Giant and Night Witch on the left. What are we seeing here, Woody?
Well, we see that miner going into the back. You see he's just getting a lot of chip damage off. That Lumberjack misplay by Soking. Thought he was going for the pump. And it's a pretty good prediction. I mean, honestly, you would usually expect the miner to go for the pump, but with only 20 seconds left, great move by Loupanji, and there's not a whole lot else to say for this defense. Nightwitch is going to get the job done, even with this Rage spell up, helping the Golem. Minion Horde and minions coming in from Loupanji, getting work off. Soking only has the zap. He doesn't have a fireball. He doesn't have arrows. He doesn't have a poison even to finish off those minions, and I think that the aerial support by Loupanji up top is really what got him the win there.
Yeah, the aerial support definitely took care of that. And when you only have to rely on Zap plus Ice Spirit to clear out Minion Hordes and minions, that is not a reliable thing. But let's take a look at the post-match recap. What are we looking here, Woody? With 25 cards played by Loupanji, 30 played by Soking, who does that give an advantage to in that kind of situation?
Well, just kind of judging initially, it looks like Loupanji was playing a lot more of the win condition type cards, those that go directly for the tower. He was getting Miner, Giant directly onto that left side, getting more damage off. And even though more elixir was spent by Soking, he was able to pump up, get a little bit more juice. It was great defensive moves by Loupanji that ultimately got him the win. If you can drop a 5 elixir minion horde to finish off an entire golem, that's a +3 trade right there. You know, Elixir Collector does get you +2 elixir over time, but you make yourself really vulnerable to a big attack. Loupanji had a great punish for that attack, and it almost kind of reminds me of way back in the day when Tin 2 qualified in the North America region for CCGS using a giant Night Witch deck to punish an Elixir Collector. You know, we've seen Night Witch since then had her power reduced a little bit, but those giant pushes are still absolutely monstrous. Whenever you're low on elixir and you don't have a distracting building to keep him off, he can really pulverize the tower in Chatton.
Yeah, and especially he had the miner every time to deal with the pumps. So you have to deal with a giant and a Night Witch, and then you got to deal with a miner. It's like pick your poison. Do you protect your pump or do you protect your tower? I mean, it looked like he wanted to protect
That's
his
what
tower.
he should have done. He needed poison in that deck, didn't he?
That is true.
Yeah.
That is true. But he chose right, then he chose left, then he chose pump, tower, and then you saw at the end he chose to protect the pump. When he went for the when Loupanji just went for the tower, and then all of a sudden his tower's dead, his pump's still alive, but that pump gave him no value.
Hardly any at all, and it was a nice punish there by Loupanji. We do have a 1-1 draw right now, and that's exactly where we were at in week 1. It was a 2-1 result overall. Loupanji may have edged him out in the first week, and he may be the kryptonite for Soking. You know, we saw this also in the spring season where Surgical Goblin, dominant in the early round robins stage, actually only lost 1 game to Baron. Do you think that Loupanji could be the Baron of this relationship where Soking is the Surge?
I think he could be. I mean, he might be the bandit coming in, you know, stealing his hair gel, you know, to a little bit of, you know, a little bit of the toupee.
Yeah, what happened to the toupee army?
I don't know. Loupanji came in and ruined
He's
it.
like Samson.
Yeah, that's, I mean.
Which makes
yeah,
Loupanji the Delilah, I guess. I don't know. He is beautiful, so maybe.
That's true. Hey, apple in my eye.
Mm-hmm.
Hey. So this next match, Are we going to see another big, heavy assault like we've been seeing? We saw 2 golems now, a giant, and a Mega Knight in these 4 possible, deck choices.
Yeah.
Do you think we're going to get another, double tank situation?
I want to see Soking mix it up and play a control deck. We've seen Loupanji kind of throwing kind of mid-sized pushes at him so far, but nothing that big yet. I think if Loupanji and Soking both mix it up a little bit, it would go in Soking's favor. But no, we got another big Golem deck coming in from Soking. And the Bandit dashes left side tower, a massive punish from Loupanji.
Goodness.
It's going to be just like last game in Shatton. That was a huge hit at the left lane. Tower already down to half hit points.
Oh, that is just not what you want to look at. There's a Golem, though. Golem
Super aggressive move by Soking, and he actually gets the Golem in front of the Night Witch. A great result for him there. It's going to take a lot of work to pull this big old guy down.
Yeah, there's the Lumberjack, though, coming in on the left-hand side. The Mega Minion's not going to be enough. Is he going to get the zap down in time? Oh my! What just happened?
A clone spell from Soking, getting double value out of that Lumberjack. They're going to be raged up doubly. The Golem pulverizing the King Tower, and Loupanji is now in a lot of trouble. The fact that he switched from Minion Horde and Minions to Mega Minion and Bats, I think might have been to his detriment in this matchup.
Yeah, 100%. He is probably going to take a tower here. I mean,
might. Ooh, good zap by Loupanji.
Oh, but this is too much.
Tower's going down, though. It's a 1-1 draw. But Soking is going to have the opportunity to counterattack next. Who's getting more damage off their King Tower? Ooh, zap is kind of ugly here. I think it's going to be just about even. One more swipe from the Mega Minion does mean that Loupanji has got a damage advantage, and he's actually got 2 more drops of Elixir right now.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Ooh, is he going for the tree crown?
Yeah, I think so.
Ooh, this is risky. This is especially running a minor side control deck. Golem coming down on the left. This is not good. This is not a good position for Loupanji.
Whoa, Mega Knight to soak some hits and give these flying critters up top a little bit more chance to hit at this Golem. Mega Minion in the back is getting some work done on that Mega Knight, and I think that was probably a pretty good move from Loupanji. He needed to be able to prevent a big, healthy Golem from marching down the left lane. He's done that by getting it way far down, but will Soking add on to this push? He's already got a Lumberjack and a Mega Knight, or a Mega Minion, excuse me.
Yeah, the Lumberjack coming in. Is it gonna kill the Electro Wizard? No.
He was so powerful, one of the strongest support cards in the game, and you can see why from that exchange right there. Lots of DPS, and wow, Soking's actually switching now. He wants to go on the right lane.
Yeah, this is gonna be a big play from Soking. Night Witch is gonna clear this out. There's gonna be a Lumberjack on the right.
Double E-Wiz from Loupanji. He's gonna lose his Mega Knight support, but he's going for the King again.
Oof.
Just a miner in the back.
Oh, Loupanji.
Miner. Mega Knight. Oh,
so much. It's going to be over.
E-Wiz zaps it down, and Loupanji gets the 3 crown. Loupanji once again has defeated our leaderboard champion. A 3-1 victory in this game and a 2-1 in the match score overall. It's been a while since Soking's taken a loss, but it's to the same guy yet again. Loupanji is definitely a force to be reckoned with in this season.
That he is, defeating the #1 player, taking him down twice. The only 2 losses that he had. Unbelievable, 7-2 now. Only 2 to Loupanji. Loupanji's looking good. He wins another one. He's a 6-3 now. He's rising up there. It's gonna come down to if Soking can win matches today, he's got to pretty much win out. Otherwise, Loupanji has a shot to leapfrog him this week.
Yeah, and take a look at this last exchange here. Soking plays the Golem, trying to pull those troops to the right lane, but he only manages to get the Mega Knight and turn him around. Loupanji says, you know what, I got another tank to throw at you. Miner directly on your tower. Oh, Soking a ton of damage. Gets the job done with those E-Wiz support out the back as well.
Yeah, the Electro Wizards, the Golem, that 8 Elixir on the right-hand side just got punished. You had everything come in on the left, and it was just something that couldn't be stopped. But let's take a look at this. Both players using 4 spells. The clone coming out from Soking there, out of the blue, took the first tower, but Loupanji answered right back. Elixir spent, Soking spent a little bit more. And let me tell you, Woody, once again, just like you said, he played the Golem, and Loupanji was ready for it. He was ready to answer, and he had the deck that was able to take care of it. got the victory. Now he's looking pretty good. Let's see who's going to be able to, finish ahead in week number 4.
That's right. We had on the match board there, you saw Soking playing more win condition cards, but not really able to get to the tower. Very versatile options being utilized there by Loupanji up top. The Mega Knight wasn't counted as a win condition card there, was doing a lot of work against those towers. E-Wiz, Night Witch, Miners all going to the back, straight on that left side. And Loupanji once again did not let up the pressure, even while Soking was trying to get that elixir advantage, pumping up in the back. Great punishment once again. And it was a little scary at the beginning. This was not a sweep by Loupanji by any means. The 3-1 victory means that he definitely took one on the chin, but he went back punching even harder.
Yeah.
I think that last game speaks for itself. Excellent performance by both guys.
And we got to run into our next match, Nemsensei versus Islaw. Nemsensei getting the first victory on the DQ of Adam, so he now is 1-8 going versus Islaw, banning Rage. Wow. P.E.K.K.A coming down from Islaw. What do you make of the Rage ban by Nemsensei? Is that just a throw it away kind of ban?
It's a throwaway ban. It's a card that never sees play at the top of the ladder. I can't entirely say it's throwaway because we've seen these players come up with such unique and interesting decks that don't use cards that see a lot of play necessarily in competitive settings. But nonetheless, the Rage spell being thrown away means that Nemsensei is going to have a little bit more in his toolbox to counter what Islaw is throwing at him. The P.E.K.K.A ban, once again, the second time in this matchup, you're not going to see any P.E.K.K.A. If you came to CCGS to watch P.E.K.K.A, I'm sorry. First 2 matches have got none of her. The big lady herself, not going to be able to stab down those ground-based push-ins, so potentially could see more Mega Knights, Golems, Giants.
Maybe her son?
Oh,
yeah.
The little mini P.E.K.K.A.
The little mini P.E.K.K.A.
Yeah.
He might make an appearance. But now, the good thing about this matchup now for Nemsensei, it's he wants to run his beatdown. And you just ban the #1 card to counter every single one of his decks that he wants to run. I expect him to run Golem. I expect him to run Giant. I expect him to try to make sure he gets down a tower with a pummeling huge force behind a Giant or a Golem. For Islaw, I think he's going to be ready for a beatdown to come at him, and he's going to be prepared. Do you think he's going to be running something like an Inferno Tower, an Inferno Dragon, a combination of maybe a Mega Knight Inferno Dragon? What do you think his defensive options are going to be to slow down a potential beatdown style from Nemsensei?
I think he's got 2 different things that he can do. He can either go for the quick stab attacks that he's done in the past. He loves playing Hog Rider and even Battle Ram since it's been slowed down a little bit. He's made great value out of that as well. He played those bridge spam decks
with the mini P.E.K.K.A,
in the previous weeks, with mini P.E.K.K.A. And so he can either try to punish by going harder in the opposite lane, kind of the same thing that Loupanji did in this last game, or he can say, you know what, I'm going to go toe-to-toe with you in this big, heavy match and bring back those 3 Muskies. We saw him play those before as well to great value, and I think that he could potentially bring them back.
Yeah, 3 Muskies, good choice. The new bridge spam as well. It's going to be a fun match, and we finally get to see Nemsensei, I think, kind of in his element. I think this is the only real time I think we've seen Nemsensei be able to kind of run the deck that he wanted to run throughout this, CCGS. And I'm excited to see some pumps coming in from him. I'm excited to see, Poison, Giant Poison, something that he's not been able to run the first 3 weeks because it's been banned every single game versus him. And I'm kind of interested to see, does he bring a little bit back from the spring season and show some life, get his second win, and 2-8, you could start climbing back up and potentially get back in the blue.
Certainly could. A win in this match would actually mean that he's tied with Adam at this point. Adam, having been disqualified from 2 matches earlier today due to unforeseen circumstances, means that he'll be falling just a little bit and giving other players at the bottom a chance to climb up ahead of him. Nemsensei has got a great opportunity to turn things around here. I really think that you're right. The fact that P.E.K.K.A is banned means that we could see some of that mid-range or even heavier beatdown style deck that he's used, but to his credit, Islaw is no chump. He's number 3 on the leaderboard right now. He's going to be a very difficult opponent for Nemsensei to run up against. But I'd say that, if I were to look at this matchup before the season began, I'd say it's a very even matchup, maybe with a little bit of an Nemsensei advantage. The underperformance in the previous weeks makes me a little bit more worried about whether Nemsensei has been practicing, whether he's going to be able to have the, peace of mind, the tranquility that we saw in spring season to go ahead with the win here. But let's see how they start out in chat.
Yeah. Ice Spirit on the left-hand side. Archer's going to be split here. There is the log. Beautiful log. Coming out on the left-hand side from Islaw. Archers, same lane here. Knight gonna easily clear it out. Lumberjack coming down from Islaw.
Ooh, Lumberjack.
Interesting. Lumberjack Archers. What could this deck possibly be, Woody?
I don't really know. We definitely got a log bait type deck coming in from Nemsensei here. I'm interested also in seeing if he switched it up to continue playing Inferno Tower or if he's going to be using Tornado Spell, which got a little bit more use on ladder this past season. But Islaw with the Baby Dragon now. Is this a Golem deck, you think?
I mean, I would assume so.
Yeah.
I would assume so.
Baby Dragon almost only gets played in Golem decks.
Yeah, but I mean, Islaw has been running decks that, not really many other people are running, not many people have seen. So we could see him run something completely, off meta. But with that Mega Minion, I'm pretty sure it's going to be a Golem.
Yeah, I think so too. And Islaw is definitely going to be happy to have selected Log for this matchup over the Zap spell. Zap working well against bats, but it looks like Nemsensei really is focusing on that ground-based attack, swarming with Goblin barrels thrown directly at the tower, as you see right now.
Yeah.
Goblin gang set up directly on the bridge. I saw with a decent defense every time. He's chopping through these Goblins, but they're always getting damage. A little bit of chip here, a little bit there. He's ahead in damage right now. Islaw's going to have to turn things around, but he's never gotten a chance to pump up yet, has he?
No, with 1:10 left, he's kind of got to drop a Golem and not get punished, which is one of the hardest things to do, especially in a matchup where Nemsensei is kind of controlling the flow of this game. Let's see if Islaw can get down this Golem without getting really punished.
Okay, time for a good log. Nicely done there by Islaw. Might even hit the Ice Spirit on the way up. Yep. 2 for 4 trade in his favor, and he's going to be able to catch this princess with an Ice Spirit of his own, and she won't be able to hit the tower now that she's locked onto the Golem.
No, but ooh, Baby Dragon coming on the right-hand side. It's going to clear it out.
Ooh, the Inferno Tower, and Nemsensei's gone for the classic pick here. Ooh, lightning on the left side takes out a princess. The tower and the Inferno takes a big hit, but it's still standing. Burns through the Golem, but it's still a big push out the right lane. Nemsensei splitting it up with a Goblin Bear on the left, with the Golem and Baby Dragon have locked on. Archer's getting a lot of value onto the Knight as well, and that right side's taking over 1,000 damage. Islaw already building up for the next push with the Golem in the back.
Yeah, the Baby Dragon's just not going to be denied here. So much damage coming out. That angry face was because that Baby Dragon locked on, and as you saw,
not be denied.
Not be denied. Golem coming out. Baby Dragon takes the aggro. Is there going to be a lightning? There it is.
It will, yeah, and there's not going to be anything here to stop the Golem. We finally got some troops set up over on the right side.
It's going to kill everything. This is going to get to the tower with death damage. This might be it, Woody.
Whoa! Golem locks on, gets 1 punch. Death damage added on.
Lumberjack!
Lumberjack for the win!
Wow!
When was the last time you saw a Lumberjack chop down a tower instead of a tree in chatting?
I don't know, but maybe we're going to have to check the woods because, I mean, is there a lack of trees? Because there's definitely a lack of towers. Whew. Whew. Beautifully played. And once again, another Golem deck coming out, a different variant with Archers this time. Lumberjack starting to come out of nowhere in essence in this 4th week. Hasn't really been played at all throughout the entirety of the CCGS before this, and it's looking like the MVP. But let's take a look at the end of this game. What do we got here, Woody, as this Golem goes down to the tower?
Nemsensei played a pretty aggressive Inferno tower, trying to keep that right side out of lightning range. And you know what? It was out of lightning range, but the Baby Dragon finished it off, and that tower going down meant that there was nothing to stop this massive push in the right side. Lumberjack gets the final kill as Nemsensei throws away a Goblin Barrel. Islaw for the win, 1-0 up in this best-of-3 match.
Yeah, and the number one thing, MVP of that deck, the log. The log lightning. He didn't have a pump, so he was able to go log, lightning, to be able to deal with it. I think he maybe even expected something like a bait kind of variant to come out because he was ready for it. The log easily cleared out the Goblins every time. He also had Archers to shut it down as well. And then that Golem, that big, hefty Golem, just slow walking. The Inferno Dragon, very risky Inferno Dragon at the river there from Nemsensei. The Baby Dragon locked on, and it really got cleared out before it could do anything to that Golem. The Golem just walked to the tower, started blowing it up, exploded on everything. Lumberjack right to the tower, chopped it down. that's going to be a victory for Islaw going into match number 2. And I want to see, does Nemsensei bring in a big heavy golem and say, if you're going to run golem game 1, I'm going to try to run golem game 2 and try to beat you with my best deck.
I sure hope he does, or at least do the same sort of thing that Loupanji did earlier in the match and bring a giant deck to try to punish those big plays from Islaw.
Yeah, well, it looks like he might be running bait again, and that is what it's going to be from Nemsensei. Islaw, is he going to be running the exact same deck? Are we going to see the exact same decks? And it looks like we are,
Yeah.
Woody.
Wow.
It's like the beatdown player goes control, and the control player goes beatdown.
Yeah. Mixing up here, but Nemsensei holding true to that archetype. He's going to be able to hit that left side pretty hard. Down on, or excuse me, his left side got hit pretty hard.
Yeah.
Down to 1752 now.
Yeah, Ice Spirit gonna easily shut this down, but oh, the Goblin Gang gonna be able to protect everything. The barrel coming in on the right-hand side. The log's gonna come out, shutting it down, but the Princess still alive, has to waste a Mega Minion in order to clear that out. Princess gonna easily shut down the Mega Minion and gonna slowly walk to the right-hand side tower of Islaw. Gonna have a little break in the action as both players kind of wait until max elixir. Baby Dragon gonna easily clear it out. The Ice Spirit didn't get to the Baby Dragon in time there, so it didn't get off the extra shot from the Princess. Knight gonna block the Baby Dragon spits per se, and the Lumberjack coming in on the right with the archers, and it looks like Islaw controlling this game once again, and this is just going to get logged down.
First tiny bit of damage on Islaw's right side tower there was from the log. Nemsensei having difficulty connecting, and I gotta say, it takes an extremely talented player to be able to shut down a log bait deck, throwing things at you left and right at the bridge and coming in directly from behind with the barrels. There's long range with the Princess, short range with the Knight. Nemsensei's throwing the whole kitchen sink at him, but Islaw handling it expertly.
Yeah. The whole kitchen sink, I mean, he's not even going to need a plumber with how beautiful he's playing this. A Golem on the left with Archer. Ooh, lightning. Oh, man.
It's
and that's
over.
a tower. It's
Shuts
over,
down
right?
the Inferno Tower, and even a rocket on the backside isn't going to be able to stop this Golem.
No, the Golem, even the explosion damage, and once again, that's lightning range. Lightning log range if needed, but it's going to be 346 lightning range. And with 15 seconds left, Nemsensei. Ugh. Archers, yeah. Log,
Splitting up another little push here, but Nemsensei has just been absolutely out maneuvered. This, I mean, out decked. It seems from every perspective here. Anything that Nemsensei was throwing at Islaw just had the great, perfect timing there. Never even hesitated with the logs. Only built up one big push, but that's all it takes, man. That left side tower down. One and done.
Yeah.
With the big Golem.
Normally you're able to punish the Golem a little bit early, but with the Archers, with the Log, with the Ice Spirit, the Lumberjack, the Mega Minion, just shut down every single push. It was like wave after wave just kept on getting batted down. And let's watch the end of this match. The lightning coming out, clearing out the Inferno Tower. The preemptive log wasn't even really necessary because there was no goblins played. Did it for the Goblin Gang. The rocket came out, cleared all the back end troops, but the Golem does so much damage even with its fist, and then the explosion as well. It got it to that magic 346, which is all you need. Lightning comes out, clears out the tower, and then Nemsensei just never was able to formulate a push in this match, and it's not just like you said, outmaneuvered all match, and I think it was just the better deck from Islaw twice in a row. But Nemsensei just didn't switch it up. We saw the same decks, same players, same matchup. Nemsensei, knowing as a beatdown legend in some sorts, especially it's pretty much all he used in the spring season, kind of got beat by his own medicine that he was dishing out. But 2-0, Great win from Islaw. That's going to bring him to 6-3.
Wow.
With Loupanji now. Now the top of the leaderboard is getting very interesting. You know, it's going to be very interesting to see the next matches shape up for, you know, to see who's going to end up in the green, the preferential seating after week number 4. Still a lot, you know, of time left to go.
Yeah.
But,
you know, something I was thinking about in that last game, there was no Elixir Collector at all from Islaw. He was playing a big, heavy Golem deck, but he pretty much committed to playing against Logbait and beating it again. If you were in Nemsensei's position and you had changed it up and played a different deck perhaps, do you think that you would have been able to take a little bit better advantage of that? And if so, what deck do you think performs well against that kind of Golem deck that doesn't have the pump?
oh, well, it's one of those situations where, just like you said, he played it. The Archers, MVP there. There was no way anything was coming down, especially the split, taking care of it. The no pump. The rocket from Nemsensei was completely, you know, useless in a sense, because that's really to take out pumps in Golem decks. But guess what? There was no pump.
Not at all.
I think
and we got to throw it back real quick. We got Trid talking to us a little bit more over in the stage area. He's got some information about the Mega Knight, another card that might have been pretty well against that Golem.
that is true.
Thanks very much, Woody and chat. And that's some fantastic games there, and a lot of Mega Knight usage, which has been one of the runaway successes of the Crown Championship so far in terms of new cards. We talked about Flying Machine last week. We're going to talk about Mega Knight this week, and I can't do it alone, so I'm going to like to introduce a special guest to the Crown Championship. Please welcome Thunder Royale. Thanks very much for joining me, man. Take a seat, take a seat. So, Liam, Thunder, whichever you prefer. Thunder it is then. Right. Thunder, we're going to talk a little bit about Mega Knight today. It's been used in a couple of matches even today. We'll talk about it in a second, but the card itself got released and it's just taken the meta by storm. What are some of the impacts that this card has had on the meta? Yeah, that's just the presence alone, but if you look on the knock-on effect of that, more P.E.K.K.A. usage means, in theory, less Giant, less Golem, less of these beatdown archetypes. And I mean, not only is Mega Knight drawing bans itself, but there are other cards. Its counters are drawing bans and opening up playing fields. I mean, like last game, P.E.K.K.A. being banned, it just opened up Nemsensei to play what he usually does, which is like those beatdown decks, right? Yeah? Yeah, I mean, it's something you have to be conscious of now. But moving on to how the Mega Knight actually works in itself, obviously you've got that splash damage that comes down. You've then got the AoE damage that comes from when it jumps, and then you've also got the actual melee damage. I mean, it's a big beefy character with these damage threats, and I mean that splash damage. What are some of the things that can just be destroyed by Mega Knight?
Yeah, lots of swarms like Goblin Gang, Skarmy, Three Musketeers again. They get destroyed by Mega Knight.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there are some interesting card choices. I think we've seen a couple of things. Like, people are having to learn again, or really learn it, how to bait out and how to leash certain cards. And Mega Knight seems incredibly leashable because of this long range he has because of his jump. I mean, I think we saw it in one of the earlier games there. It was a bandit in the center of the field, made him jump to the center, and then he jumped from the bandit to the golem and just chased him up the field. What are some other cards, do you think, that could do that kind of leashing with Mega Knight?
Well, Hog Rider is actually a surprising one. It can pull Mega Knight all the way across the field without getting hit at all.
Really? Just
Yeah.
not getting hit at all with it? I mean, I've seen a couple of people, I think Clash of Ash put a video up, or at least found a video, a couple of weeks ago. People were using Tombstone in front of the King Tower, and then so the skeletons would bait the jump, and he would just follow the breadcrumbs to the Tombstone, smash the Tombstone, get 2 towers and a small pack of skeletons on him, and just absolutely decimate him. I mean, there are the stats on the board right there. I mean, look at that. 3,300 HP. You've got the 2 different attack values. The 240, I believe, is the impact damage when it lands. Then the 480 is the jump and the splash. And it's got a little bit of pace behind it, but it's not the fastest card in the world. I mean, what kind of decks work best with Mega Knight?
Well, we saw Loupanji use sort of a bridge spam Mega Knight deck. He would be very aggressive at start of games and get a lot of damage that way. But the problem with that is Mega Knight is 7 elixir, so the counter push can be deadly.
Yes. But then it's also, if we talk about an elixir value as well, we talked about how Mega Knight can deal with a free muskie very easily.
Yeah.
That's a 7 for 9 trade right there if you do it right. But I mean, it takes a little bit of misplay because you have to send all 3 muskies down the same lane, which not really a lot of people do, but it can still be done for various reasons.
Yeah, definitely.
So we've got that. How does it fare against cards like, say, for example, Battle Ram? Like, is that a good answer? Because, I mean, yeah, you might get the first jump damage when you hit the Battle Ram, but then you've got 2 barbs right in front of you just in melee range. Do you think that's quite a useful card in that situation?
Well, Battle Ram, it has no chance of getting through to the tower unless it has a tank.
Yes.
Like, if there's a P.E.K.K.A. distracting the Mega Knight and the tower, the Battle Ram might get through, but otherwise, no.
Okay. And are there any other... We need to talk about bridge spam being used. What is the Mega Knight a replacement for the Giant or the Golem in certain archetypes, or is it just a new card on its own?
Well, at the start of its release, we saw it being used as a replace card in Giant and P.E.K.K.A. decks. But now it's got its own niche. It fits in with decks lacking splash damage.
Thank you very much for your time, Liam. I'm sure we'll check in with you later today. We're going to throw it back to Woody and Enchanting. They're going to bring you the next couple of games on this week of the Crown Championship.
Thanks, Trid and Liam. Next matchup, Woody. Loupanji, Surgical Goblin. Unbelievable matchup. Surgical Goblin 6-2. Loupanji 6-3. So pretty much whoever wins this game is going to get the preferential seating, going to the green and be looking very, very good.
Trying to get into the top 2. Remember, they get an opportunity to just advance with a free match in the bracket stage if they finish top 2 in the round robin. We're really starting to see the leaderboard shaping up. And with this match here, you're going to get a much better idea of who is going to be on top in the end. Loupanji and Surgical Goblin are going up against each other fresh in this CCGS European region. For right now, we haven't seen them play against each other. So it's who knows? Who knows what they're going to be running? We've got Elixir Collector and Mega Knight banned, 2 cards that are both very popular. The bigger, heavier dudes are going to have difficulty getting wins here. What I expect to see maybe a little bit of ground-based action.
Okay.
A little bit of lighter log baity type decks without the Mega Knight here. It's going to be easier to get those types of attacks off. And then also potentially the Lava Hound attacks. The Lava Hound balloon hits, floating in, death from above.
Death from above?
What do you think?
Death from above sounds great, and I think Loupanji is going to run balloon here. I believe this might be the first time that it hasn't been banned on him throughout the entire CCGS. Maybe he may have been able to sneak it in one other time, but now that he's able to play it, does he even play it, or does he continue to run this kind of interesting style that he's been playing? Is he's just been running different decks every week that are completely new, completely fresh, and completely off the meta. Now, Surgical Goblin sitting, another top-ranked player here. Loupanji has already shown he's beaten Soking twice. Can he now take down another Goliath par se and really, assert himself as the newcomer coming into this fall season, as really sticking his chest out saying, I'm here and I'm here to stay?
I think he's got a good chance of doing here. And you were right almost about the balloon ban. We did get a throwaway ban from Adam last week. He banned Spark against Loupanji. But Loupanji's preferred balloon deck does include Mega Knight. It's that big ground-based Mega Knight and air-based balloon to get the kill. And, with a log rolling through here, it looks like Surgical Goblin's actually going to get a strike onto the left side tower. Tombstone not able to hold up on defense just long enough.
Yeah, Log is going to always shut down that Tombstone. Bats coming, though, from Surge.
Kind of an unlucky hit out the right side. The Mega Knight sometimes gets 2 swipes on the tower. Looks like he only got 1 this time. But Loupanji is playing balloon. You're right in chatting. Floating in that right lane. Whoa! Rock Rocket's the right side. Balloon will be able to survive, though.
And there's
Surge
the
needs a
Lava
little
Hound,
more
Woody.
damage on it. Yep. Lava Hound up top. Wow.
Oh my gosh.
Great read by Surge, playing a hard counter to the Lava Hound balloon type deck. We got an Executioner in the back. Do you think Tornado could possibly be the last card there, or is he playing something else a little more standard for the Hog Rocket deck?
It might be a Tornado. It might be a Tornado, Woody, and I think Surge was listening to your pregame about the Lava Loon that was coming out.
He knew what to expect, and he's got a great setup to go against Loupanji in this match. We got 1777 on the right side tower. Loupanji throwing arrows, but there's no minions in Surge's deck. That's kind of the ideal target for those arrows. And without anything flying up high besides bats, it looks like Loupanji might have picked the wrong spell for this matchup.
Yeah, that spell is going to be pretty much completely irrelevant. Just kind of like the Lava Hound in this. You know, he has almost every answer to every single thing that Loupanji is going to play.
Now, if you're Loupanji in this setup and you know that you've got a difficult match ahead of you, what are you going to be trying to do to get the win here?
You got to just lane swap, switch sides each way, throw balloons on the right, Lava Hounds on the left. You got to just hope and pray Surge makes one mistake, that one mistake that you can really punish him off of. But the thing is hoping for a mistake is not really how you ever want to play. But
No,
when there's like
definitely not.
9 different answers, you know, I don't really know what else you can do in the situation. And the Tornado as well.
Great punish there by Surgical Goblin. Kept that balloon off the right side tower and got a little bit of a hit over on the right, down to 1681 now. Loupanji tried to get a Lava Hound onto the left tower, and you know, it reached there, but Lava Hound itself doesn't do a whole lot of damage.
No, and the Hog Rider, and I think Loupanji is kind of just like, does he push on the
Surge
left-hand
is
side?
waiting for the chance to rocket here, but yep,
There it is.
we get the double push, just like you said.
Yeah.
Left and right over here. Tornado to help out this Executioner. It looks like the bats finished the job off on the left lane. Loupanji just unable to connect with this air-based deck.
Yeah, he tried to do everything he could, but just the arrows completely really useless in this deck, and so is the Inferno Dragon. There's really not much he can do. Bats.
Much at all. Another Hog Rider coming on
Ooh,
in.
this Hog Rider,
Tombstone
yep,
is
this is
down.
it.
He's going to get a chance to strike the right side. 1 hit is good. 2 hits even better. Lava Hound Inferno Dragon on the counterattack. Ooh.
There's the
rocket on the
rocket.
tower, and just a log to finish it off. That'll be a
Yes.
win for Surgical Goblin.
Oh, Woody, that's... what do you do if you're Loupanji now? Where you... Every single thing that you played, Surgical Goblin... Surgical Goblin had a direct hard counter to.
I think you got to put the tinfoil hat on at this point and chat. There's no way to stop Surgical Goblin unless you can prevent him from reading your mind, because Surge knows exactly what to run against you almost all the time.
You know what he needs to do?
What?
He stole Soking's hair gel. Now he needs to apply it.
Ah.
He needs
You know,
to
'cause Soking
apply
also
it.
defeated Surgical
That's-
Goblin.
yeah.
There you go. He's got to get
He's gotta get the
hair
magic
gel
juice,
on.
the juice.
Block the EMP waves or the ESP or whatever he's sending at him. He's definitely got Loupanji's number looked up with the finishing rocket log combo at the end there. Surge just throws spell damage at that right side tower to get the finishing blow.
Yeah, and that's that. Loupanji, still, it's only 1 game down. Not a big deal.
Only
Most-
1, but it's best of 3. 1 is pretty much half the entire set if you're going to
That's-
lose by 2.
Well, let's just hope he wins this next one.
Gotta
Otherwise,
be the
it will.
reverse sweep, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, most of his matches are 2-1, so he can come back strong,
Yeah.
win this next matchup, and then focus on game number 3 versus Surgical. Forget about game number 1, because that was a bludgeon. That was not fun to watch.
Yeah.
It was not fun to play.
Oh, God.
And that's just one of those situations where he just
I
pregame.
had
He
fun
won in the
watching it,
pregame.
though.
What?
I had fun watching. I always learn a little bit from watching these top guys. You know, seeing a hard counter does teach you something. You learn if you're up against a really hard deck like that, especially if you're on ladder, try to go for the draw. Don't try to get the win there. Just defend as hard as you can. You know, you got to threaten them every once in a while. Try to get a rocket out against your balloon. But that right side tower just took a ton of damage, and there was no way for Loupanji to be able to set up against Surge's big attacks there. We're going to have a game 2 coming up again soon. Let's see if Loupanji is able to outdeck him this time. You know, we've seen very creative decks from Loupanji in the past, and Surge as well. I think that these might actually be the 2 most creative deck builders in the tournament, but they've been playing pretty standard stuff so far. Do we have a log bait duel here? I don't know.
Yeah, it might be that. Whoa, well, there is a Ice Golem coming down from Loupanji. Surge looking like he does have a bait with the Princess dropped in the back. Baby Dragon from Loupanji gonna be running another just, off meta, and the cannon card coming out.
I can hear the French casters screaming, cannon card! Look at that. We hardly ever see that card being used in competitive play. And that's one reason why, unfortunately, it's going to fall right outside of tower range. It gets no damage out the right lane. Loupanji not taking a whole lot on the right side either, though. Rolling logs through the Goblin barrels, and they're just about even on elixir count right now.
Yeah, Loupanji has a little bit of an advantage here with the decks. If he does have this graveyard variant of cannon card, he could maybe sneak it in here. Surge is going to have to play this pretty beautifully. And whoa, a Barbarian Hut coming out of left field from Loupanji. Wow, and Bat's gonna shut down these first set of Barbarians, but Loupanji Barbarians, ramping up with a cannon cart, maybe a graveyard as well. This could be a very lethal push. Miner coming in just to get a little chip.
Miner Minion Horde, a very lethal attack to say the least. We got a big push on this right side from Surgical Goblin, but it looks like Loupanji's able to shut it down. The thing that I feel is not so hot about what Loupanji's running here, you can surprise someone with a move like Miner Minion Horde to just tear a tower down. Barbarian Hut doesn't really offer an opportunity to surprise your opponent. It just kind of sits there and spits out 2 barbs every once in a while. And it works pretty well against things like Golem if it's able to chop them up and distract him. But against this log bait deck, I'm not really sure how he's going to get value out of it.
Yeah, no, especially with the Princess is just so far range. It keeps the Princess so far back and just continues to get value.
The juke barrel by Surgical Goblin gets the Gobos on tower. Nicely done by him there. The right side's down to half hit points now. Loupanji trying to counter push out this right lane. What can he add on? Wow, a rocket. And you'll notice Surgical Goblin is not bleeding very much elixir, but sometimes he reaches 10 and he sits there for a little while, willing to lose a little bit of juice in order to make the better play. That right side now down at 706. Surge does not have Rocket in this log bait deck, so it's not the typical sort of swarm deck that you see, but incorporating Bats, Minion Horde, and Miner allows him to get troops on tower and then defend by having that big tanky dude in the back. You'll see one more Goblin Barrel hit. Wow. No counter from Loupanji. We could not get a log to roll through there. And that's going to be a 1-0. We've got Soking Revenge.
Soking Revenge. Yeah.
Getting revenge for his teammate. The 2-0 over Loupanji.
Yeah.
Surgical Goblin takes another win.
Great plays by Surge and the juke barrel. The problem was when you have a Barbarian Hut versus a Princess, and the Princess just continuing to get value after value after value, it kind of makes it seem useless, in a sense. Like you said, the Barbarians that entire game got no value, and let's watch at the end here. Miner comes in, sneaks through, misses the Ice Golem and the Barbarians, and just slowly chips down the tower, but Loupanji never was able to formulate a push, never really was in control of that game, and I felt like Surgical Goblin knew what he wanted to do there, and Loupanji's Barbarian Hut just was not the answer in that match.
Nope. But you know what that means? Since Loupanji beat Soking but lost to Surgical Goblin, Surge and Soking are now tied for first place, each with a 7-2 record.
Wow.
Yeah. The Kesso guys up on top, and Islaw not too far behind with a 6-3 record. That's just one match difference between the two fellows up at the top, but a pretty big gap between them in fourth place. We got Loupanji now with 6-4, another loss on top of what Islaw's got, and then Loe with 5-3. We're not going to see a whole lot of him until later today. I think he's in the final matchup.
Yeah.
But let's see how this next game goes. Loupanji returning to the arena. It's going to be a marathon for him today, up against Baron. And we got P.E.K.K.A. and Balloon as the ban cards.
P.E.K.K.A. Balloon. Balloon getting banned once again versus Loupanji. No surprise there. P.E.K.K.A. getting taken away from Baron. That's been a very popular ban against Baron, taking away the P.E.K.K.A. control, which he really, really likes to run. Baron 4-4, sitting at 4-4. 5-4 from Baron here in, taking a win off of Loupanji will definitely, get him higher in the leaderboards. And this is a pretty important win, I believe, for Baron. 5 losses here still. is in good position, but like you said, there's such that big gap between the 4th place and beyond, and in order to kind of, you know, climb back up the ladder, per se, this is going to be a key match. Loupanji just got a loss from Surgical Goblin. Can he bounce back really quickly, a quick turnaround here, and take down Baron, who's been a really strong performer as of late, had a struggled week 1, but definitely made up for it week 2 and week 3, getting back into, you know, a good position here. So,
excuse me there, sorry about that. Baron actually managed to win week 1 against Loupanji, so we got a little bit of history between these guys. He actually 2-0'd Loupanji.
Wow, that was his only win week 1 too.
It was indeed, and the victory there for Baron kind of set him on a path to trying to solidify himself in that blue zone. You know, he's not really in too much of a risk of falling into the red, but he's still pretty damn far from being able to reach the green up top. Loupanji, on the other hand, has got a chance to make it to the green. With a winning record and another win here, he could potentially climb back up with a great win streak if things don't go so well for Soking, Surgical Goblin, and Islaw. You know, that's the kind of ceteris paribus. We must say, all things being equal, the Kesto guys kind of have to fail for someone else to be able to reach the top at this point. But Loupanji working to either stay in the blue or climb up into the green. It's kind of got a do-or-die match at this point. If he loses this game, or this matchup against Baron, rather, he can't really make it into the green. On the other hand, Baron, just like you said, is 4-4 right now. He's kind of in the middle of the pack. He got a default win over Adam earlier today, so he might actually be, that might be the 5th one. We'll have to check later, but they're both kind of in the middling section there. And as a result,
yeah, as a result,
being evenly scored means that the match becomes even more important.
Yeah, 100%, and it's just avoiding the red at this point. If you're kind of in the middle low pack, it's just making sure you are in a good enough position to where there's less pressure on you when the last 2 weeks happened, where the pressure starts to mount for everybody who's in the red, needing to get into, you know, into the 6, you know, man bracket out of the 10. 4 are going to be eliminated. 4 are going to be going home. 6 still going to be winning that first place prize. There's going to be a miner coming on the right-hand side. Night Witch on the left. Minions are going to easily clean up the miner, and the Night Witch is going to fall as well.
So we've got that big old giant minions combo that Loupanji beat Soking with earlier today, using it again now against Baron. He's been hanging out in the studio quite a bit, but he's at home now, running what looks to be a bit more like a hog cycle type deck.
Yeah, hog cycle versus a giant coming down from Loupanji.
We lost Baron there, but it looks like he still has the connection. Plays Goblins out in the back, but they're going to get taken out by this minion. If he doesn't have a good combo counter, he's going to add the Mega Knight on top.
Is there
and
going to be
he'll
an
be able to take plenty of damage. I don't know.
Oh, he just lets it go. Okay. Slow play.
Quick attack out the left. We got a Hog Rider moving on in.
Ooh, the path.
He can get a lot more damage than the miner in the back.
Yeah.
Ice Golem will be able to take care of this Night Witch and all the bats that were there. Of course, she spawns 2 more when she dies, but Baron definitely got the better edge on that exchange. Left side for the Loupanji down to half hit points now. Yeah,
you never want to take a naked Hog Rider with no defense. I mean, look at how much damage just in a blink of an eye is off your tower. But can this push happen?
Zap could be crucial here. It's going to give the minions a little bit better of an opportunity to connect. We still got a giant tanking for Loupanji's right side push, though, and it looks like he's connected quite well here. Ewiz just so good on defense, though. Man, look at that Ewiz.
And the Frosty the Snowman as well, blocking the miner, blocking the Bandit. The Bandit isn't going anywhere.
It's a relative draw right now in the arena. Both players at about half hit points on their tower. Wow, big minion horde investment by Loupanji in the left lane. That's going to demand something from Baron, maybe even a fireball on the left side. Nope, he's going to distract instead with some minions of his own.
Here comes the Giant. This might be the push of the game. Can he get to the tower here? Loupanji, and oh no, the Night Witch going to continue to get value. The miner coming in on the inside half. The Goblin's going to take it out.
Unfortunate placement on that miner. That left side tower was able to connect with it and take it down a little bit sooner than Loupanji may have wanted, but at 602 health on the right side, Baron might go down first. Triple digits on the left, though. It's going to be another attack on the left. We got a Hog Rider moving in. Prediction Fireball gets out 2 of the minions. Ooh, but a little bit short. Baron almost got the kill of the game right there, but 457 hit points on the Loupanji's left side tower, and it's his turn to counterattack.
And here it is. The miner coming in is going to get a lot of damage. Can the Giant connect on the tower? The Fireball preemptively coming in. The Giant isn't going to connect. Who's going to win? Giant! Oh my goodness! Hog Rider's coming out. It's over! Baron with the play! Oh my, wow. Baron, unbelievable defense, shutting that down. And the Giant just not getting that last left-handed swing on the tower. The Electro Wizard, one of the best offensive units in the game, which is why a lot of people have been banning Electro Wizard versus Baron, especially after, I think in week 1 when Surgical Goblin banned it versus him. This has been the next like 4 matches where straight Electro Wizard bans on Baron. But let's take a look at the end of this game. Let's just highlight the Giant. Look at this Giant. He gets off this one punch, but just not able to connect with the second time. And look at how much life is on that tower. Baron, beautiful defense. Electro Wizard stun just enough. The Goblins take it out, and the Hog Rider sneaks through. Not enough defense to be able to stop it. Baron takes match number 1.
34 hit points left on that right side tower, but by the skin of his teeth, Baron pulls off the victory. Nice job splitting up those pushes. I really think that it was just throwing Hog Riders with the Hail Mary, hoping it connects at the left side. Was a great move there. But, you know, the even more risky play was throwing that prediction fireball at the left side tower. He knew that there were probably going to be minions somewhere around there to stop it, but you got to be able to get the exact right read on your opponent to know when they're going to be able to play those cards, to know that when you throw the fireball, if there's no minions there yet, they better be popping up soon, or you've wasted elixir and you're probably going to drop your right side tower sooner.
Yeah, just not enough there. Cards played, 33 from Loupanji, 35 from Baron. Spells played. They each played 5 spells. You know, they pretty much even elixir. I mean, this was as close as you can possibly get to a game. Maybe 0.2 seconds the difference between the Giant Crush in the tower or the Hog Rider swinging the hammer. And just like you said, throwing the Hail Mary. What do you think about the tournament mode that's coming, Woody? In Clash Royale.
Yeah. We got the touchdown mode coming out, don't we? I just did a broadcast on that. The touchdown tournament, it was a lot of fun with Ash, and man, it really feels like getting a touchdown on that left side there. You throw that big bomb and it hits the left side tower, finishes it off. But yeah, touchdown mode's gonna be really fun. I'm looking forward to that. There's no towers. In case you haven't seen the stream, guys, go check out the summary. It's on the Clash Royale YouTube channel. There's no towers. It's just the first to the opposite side gets a crown, 3 crowns, and you're won the match. But yeah, this last one also went really well. It just would have been 1 zap on that right side tower to finish things off. Did you have something to say about the touchdown, or did you just?
No. I was just throwing that up there after you said Hail Mary. I was like, Hail Mary, may as well talk about touchdown. Baron, Loupanji, game 2. Loupanji, kind of struggling right now. Dropping a couple of games in a row here, 3 in a row.
Yeah, 1 against Soking, the top player in the entire region, but it's been kind of having difficulty both against Surgical Goblin and now against Baron, down 0-1 in this match.
Fireball comes out on the right, takes out the Princess, but 3 for 4.
Baron's playing that same deck he had last time, though. He's got the Mini P.E.K.K.A. Hog Rider. I think he had Rocket in there, too, at some point.
Yeah, he's either Rocket or Lightning. Let's see which one he chooses. I think he's played it with both so far.
Okay. Minions flying a little bit slow out back. I find it a little strange and a little jarring that they can get frozen, and yet they just still kind of float there in midair. It's like they're not flapping their wings.
They're just flying. They should fall to the ground, right?
They should fall to the ground. Yeah. How can they be frozen and yet still stay up so high?
Well, they could be like gargoyles.
Oh.
Kind of like go into like a stone form.
Oh yeah. Little stone form. Interstasis for a little.
Mini P.E.K.K.A!
Oh my God! Mini P.E.K.K.A. out the right side. Sat for Loupanji to try to shut that thing down, but you know what? I guess it's not the worst decision in the world. You've taken a lot of damage out the left lane. It's fine to save up a little bit more elixir by responding to that Mini P.E.K.K.A. where there's a 2 elixir zap on the right side.
Yeah, here comes the Hog Rider on the right-hand side with the Ice Spirit, and there it is. The minions frozen in midair, but not gonna do much. Night Witch easily clears them out with her bats that she spawns. Princess, bullseye is right. It's gonna take out this Night Witch.
Night Witch and her bats at the very end there. She survives the exchange, and Baron ahead in damage on both sides of the tower. Doing pretty well on elixir too. Oh, almost got the catch there with that Ice Golem, but not quick enough. Loupanji
pretty
happy.
Pretty risky.
Yeah.
Giant on the
Loupanji's
right.
got to be happy with that exchange, though, and he's moving in once again with a Giant. Now, this Mini P.E.K.K.A. is going to have difficulty against ground swarms, but Loupanji doesn't have any single ground swarmy troop. Every single troop is just a big old standalone, you know, guy or gal. It's the minions up top that are trying to get the swarm off, but they can't distract the P.E.K.K.A. All they can do is hit it.
Yeah, the Hog Rider continuing just to assault this left-hand tower. The Bandit coming in. The Giant's going to come out as well. The Princess going to continue to get value. Mini P.E.K.K.A is just the MVP of the... Oh! The Mini P.E.K.K.A misses! The Fireball misses the Mini P.E.K.K.A, and it's easily going to clear up everything. Mini P.E.K.K.A MVP so far in this match. Is it going to connect on the tower? Oh! Hog Rider coming in on the left-hand side.
And it dashes the Ice Golem, though, and she's not going to be able to reach that Hog until it's too late. 2 swings on the tower, and that left side goes down to the Rocket. We were wondering earlier if it's going to be a Rocket player or Lightning. Baron has chosen to go for the big guns. Boom! Left side gets obliterated.
Oh, man.
That's a 2-0 match.
2-0
result,
match,
right?
yeah. Yeah, 2-0. Mini P.E.K.K.A is just hitting the tower twice in that game. Like, very rare to see a Mini P.E.K.K.A clobber a tower, but when you don't really have anything to shut it down, I mean, it just got in there, hit the right side, and he even zapped it. Still hit the right side, hit the left side with the rocket that came out, Hog Rider, and that's going to be it. Let's watch the end there. Bam! The left-handed swing from the sky, or should I say the ground, because it's a little short unit, you know? Hog Rider going to do a little bit, but the rocket, pocket rocket, like you said.
Boom. Left side goes down. You know, maybe if that Bandit had been placed 1 tile closer, she could have gotten the dash off onto the Mini P.E.K.K.A at the end there, but just kind of underestimating the Mini P.E.K.K.A has been one of the most dangerous plays that you can make here. I think that these guys are a little bit more used to playing against P.E.K.K.A now. P.E.K.K.A have been very popular in a lot of these top games. P.E.K.K.A chops just about as hard as Mini P.E.K.K.A does, a little bit harder, in fact, but she's just so slow. It takes so long for her to get to the tower that you say, oh, okay, one of those P.E.K.K.As is coming at me again, you know. They got the armor, the swords, whatever. It's not gonna, and then all of a sudden, it's blowing your tower up. Let's take a look at the heat map of cards played by Baron in this last match. You can see he's kind of all over the field here. He's willing to play left, go stab a little bit at the right, but most of the cards played right there on that left side bridge, almost directly next to the river.
Yeah, this graph shows where the cards were played and how either yellow is probably much 1, you know, and the higher it is as red, the more cards that were played in that same tile, you know, and as you can see, spread all over, very diverse here from Baron, you know, with the princesses, obviously, where in the middle, right in front of the crown, you know, definitely took care of that. Then you had the Mini P.E.K.K.As, you know, that got so much value continuously throughout the entire game, and the Hog Riders obviously were, you know, where the red was on the top, you know, on the left-hand side there at the bridge, you know, just continuing to go in there.
Directly on tower.
Smacking it.
Go straight for it. Hog Rider does not delay at all. We can get a nice, strong defense out here on the right side, but Baron knows when to go for the kill. That left side gotten absolutely obliterated, both by Mini P.E.K.K.A and the Hog Rider. And with that, guys, we're going to take a quick head over to the locker room. Once again, Trid, what have you got for us?
Thanks very much, Woody, and in chat. And yeah, we're going to take another quick break from the action. And we want to shine a light on one of the new additions to the Crown Championship. Someone who's been making waves in this season of the Clash Royale Crown Championship. We're going to take a moment to have a look at Soking. But to help me get through that, we're going to introduce another special guest. Please welcome to the Crown Championship, GR. Thanks for joining us at Cologne, yeah? Fantastic. Right, so thank you for joining us. We're going to talk a little bit about Soking, as you know. Had a match already from him today, so I think we kick off with that. He actually lost to Loupanji, I believe. So how did that matchup go? What do you think contributed towards that?
I think he made a mistake. He took a golem 3 times, and it was his mistake. He should change the deck, I think, after the second match. He surprised him with the clone, but then in the third game it was just a mistake to place it, to take it once again.
Yeah, but that's only his second loss of the whole series, shall we say, or the top 10 we're currently in. But people don't recognize him because he wasn't in Spring, but that doesn't mean he's not an accomplished player. He's got a couple of accolades under his belt, came second at ESWC, only to Surgical Goblin. That was at Gamescom back in August, came third in Gamergy, and he's also won the Mobile Masters, I believe, came first earlier in the year. This guy's he's consistently around the top. It's just a shame he wasn't around in Spring. What can you say about this guy's playstyle that seems to make him so dominant at the moment, or at least up there in the upper echelons of Clash?
And he's improving his skills match after the match. And he took the revenge on Surgical Goblin in this season of the CCGS. And I think in the second match he is also like a favorite.
Well, he's tied head-to-head with Surgical Goblin at the moment, 7-2. They have got their rematch. I don't believe that's this week. It's going to be in a couple of later weeks, but that's going to be definitely a match to watch. One of the things I spoke to Woody and Chanton about, and these guys have been following Clash outside of the Crown Championship a lot more detailed than some of the other people I know. But when they spoke about Soking, they said that this guy always finds a way to do well in the early stages, consistently stay up there, and he always seems to fall at the last hurdle. What do you think kind of causes someone to maybe do that? Is it pressure, or what do you think?
Yeah, I think the pressure.
Yeah?
Yeah, he's a really good player, but the pressure is on everyone.
Yeah, absolutely. If you can't deal with the pressure, that's one of the things that has to go into account when you're at this level, when you're in esports in general. Pressure is existing. He's going to be in the studio for 4 finals. If he finishes in top 6, there's even going to be a bit of an audience maybe as well. That's definitely changes things up. And we saw the difference in spring when players came to the studio and when they were back home. So he's got to learn to deal with the nerves a little bit better. I mean, what are some of his favorite cards or archetypes that this guy is running at the moment? What's keeping him in the game?
I love Soking because he plays a lot of times the off-meta decks, especially when he was playing against the Surgical Goblin.
Yeah.
He won with the Hawk Rider and the Inferno Tower Guards deck. No one expected this.
Absolutely, and I think that's another thing that's been thrown around as well. He can predict his opponent's decks, so he seems to stay one step ahead of the game, especially before the match even starts.
Yeah, that's incredible. That's why he's first in the leaderboard.
Absolutely, and I mean, it's kind of poetic, really, that his teammate, Surgical Goblin, is also known for that attribute, being able to counter-deck someone, win the match before it's even started. Soking's in the exact same position as well. So, I mean, is that something that's just shared between these guys? Do you reckon they share strats, being teammates? Or is it just something that both these players have picked up over their journey and they just brought to Team Queso?
So, as we all know, they are friends, and they are both from Team Queso team. And I think they are always cooperating, talking about the decks, talking what should they do, what deck should they choose to pick, and that's why they are both on the first places.
Okay, so when we talk about Soking, we're definitely talking about Surgical Goblin as well. We said we got a rematch later on in the week. Who do you think will take part 2 of their grudge match?
I think Soking once again.
You think Soking will beat Surgical Goblin once again?
Yeah.
I'll bear that in mind and I'll remember it and I'll tweet at you or something if you're wrong. Anyway, thanks very much for joining us.
Thank you.
We're going to throw it back to Woody and chat and to kick the games off again.
Thanks, Trid. This next match, we're going to have Surgical Goblin versus Nemsensei. Now, if this was maybe at the end of spring, maybe the beginning of fall, this would have been the marquee matchup.
Oh, it
would have
was in the spring season, for sure.
100%. Goliath versus Goliath. We've seen Nemsensei kind of fall off a little bit here, but I still think in any kind of sport, in any kind of competitive environment, when you have 2 players who are rivals, no matter how bad one player is doing, no matter how good one player is doing, on the other hand, it's always going to be an interesting match, and I think it's always going to be a nail-biter, and I expect this game, or this matchup, to go into the 3rd match. The bans, Woody, Mega Knight coming out from Nemsensei, Surgical Goblin banning the Hog Rider. What are these bans? How are these bands going to form out, the pick phase?
Well, I think that with the ground-based bans, we again have the opportunity to go toward the skies. We could have that Lava Hound balloon deck make a comeback here, but I got to say, there's a little bit more to the history of these guys that I just want to share with our friends out there, because Nemsensei and Surgical Goblin are players who almost always appeared in the top 2, top 4 in tournaments that were taking place over the past year or so in Europe. We had them in the finals at ESWC Winter 2017. Surgical Goblin managed to eke out a victory there, 3-2 over Nemsensei. We saw them again in CCGS EU spring season, where Surgical Goblin beat Nemsensei a time or two, but then at the very end, in the finals bracket, Nemsensei defeated Surgical Goblin in a best-of-5 match. I believe it was a 3-1 score. Yep. So it was kind of a trouncing at that point. Now, Surgical Goblin in the winner's bracket did ultimately wind up becoming the champion of the region that season with a victory over Nemsensei. He was first place and Nem was second. But coming into fall season now, the leaderboard looks a little bit different. Neither of these guys are in the top 2 position. Actually, I take it back. Surgical Goblin is tied. He's tied for number 1. He is in the top 2 position. But Nemsensei down at the bottom has been struggling. Obviously, we've seen him have a little bit of difficulty in his matches leading up to the games today. But I think that you're right, that these guys know each other very well, and this is going to be a lot more close of a match than some players may otherwise suspect or otherwise, expect from Nemsensei from the games that we've seen today. I think that they know each other very well. They know what they're going to be going up against. And I guess leading back into the band segment, then I said we might see some air decks. Nemsensei loves playing big, heavy beatdown, though. Do we think that there could be some Golem in here again?
There could be some Golem, maybe Giant. I mean, he just ran log bait twice and lost. I think he's kind of got to go with his gut, go with what he, loves to play, go with what he's known to play for, and just roll the dice and say, you beat me when I'm going to play my best deck, and then let's see what happens, instead of kind of having the game, be controlled by the other player, and here it is, the Giant coming out from Nemsensei, and there's the P.E.K.K.A. from Surgical Goblin. Just when you say he's got to go with his heart, go with what he does, go with the gut, that unit right there has been the kryptonite to Nemsensei all fall season long.
Definitely going to ruin this game for him. P.E.K.K.A. chopping through that Giant. Once again, like a hot knife through butter. That poor beefy dude is just getting obliterated by big old Mama P.E.K.K.A. Right side push just gets totally toasted.
Look at how much life it still has.
Yeah, still it happens. Surge just pushing out the left lane also. He's going to be splitting up his attack against Nemsensei here. And he's getting a pretty good bit of damage off the left side. That miner has gone virtually unanswered, and it gets about as much damage as a rocket does for half the cost.
Yeah, and the poison's going to easily shut down the pump. And just a little bit of chip on the tower.
Yep, Surge just kind of threw away 2 elixir getting those goblins onto the left side. He knew he was going to get a little bit of chip off there, but I think he was just cycling into something better before he was able to get the poison on the right lane. Nemsensei has really got to build up a big push, though, against this kind of lighter deck that Surge is using. He's got goblins, bats, bandit, miner, lots of 2 and 3 elixir stabby type troops, but then of course it's anchored by the P.E.K.K.A. once again on the right side, chopping through a Giant.
Slicing like butter, man. Ooh.
Slice and dice. Oh, you're making me hungry in chatting.
Yes, 3 swings. You hungry? What are you in the mood for? Are you in the mood for a little cheese?
A little P.E.K.K.A. sandwich there. She was carving something up nice for me.
Well,
Giant.
If you're looking for some cheese, I mean, I think Surgical Goblin can take care of you on that aspect.
Oh, ooh, I see what you're going for there. The Netherlands have any special kinds of cheese that we can go for?
I don't know, but this bandit, miner. Oh my goodness, wow. The miner, no.
Nemsensei tried to play that he was a little bit further back to be able to target onto the miners sooner, but at the expense of missing out on killing those bats with his spawn damage.
Yeah, the Giant's just going to take these goblins for a stroll. But guess what? The P.E.K.K.A. is going to take the Giant for a stroll down to the graveyard after this dies. 1, 2, 3 swings. It's going to even get number 4. No life taken from the P.E.K.K.A. And now you got a full life Mama P.E.K.K.A. walking down the right-hand side. The poisons from both players. The P.E.K.K.A. is just going to continue to shut this down. And it is not looking good for Nemsensei here.
It's not, but you know what? On the scoreboard...
P.E.K.K.A.
She's getting close to the tower.
Oh my goodness!
Nemsensei in a lot of trouble now. I was about to say, before that exchange, that right side tower for Surge had actually taken more damage than either of Nemsensei's towers. He was taking them out the left and the right, but he was kind of controlling the flow of combat. With that big Mama P.E.K.K.A. hit out the right lane, though, I don't see how Nemsensei can turn this thing around.
No, and the P.E.K.K.A. It kills the E-Wizard right away. It's going to kill the Giant. Then, double E-Wizards on the field. Best defensive troop in the game, and you're going to see why. Just a perma-stun pretty much on that Mega Minion. Look at this. I think Sensei's like, just take my tower at this point.
Yep.
P.E.K.K.A. versus Giant. We've seen it time in and time again. Nemsensei going to his comfortable picks, and every time he does that, there's always a P.E.K.K.A. on the opposite side. And it's like one of those situations where who wins, in the matchup versus, somebody with a sword and somebody just with a fist. I think we're always going to go with the guy with the sword. But let's take a look at the end of this game and look at this P.E.K.K.A., Woody. Just how does this connect to the... That's just so much damage. That's like what we were alluding to before, where the mini P.E.K.K.A, you know, got to the tower because you're expecting a really, really slow Mama P.E.K.K.A to get there, and it never really connects with a tower. In this situation, the P.E.K.K.A got to the tower because the poison was just able to kill that Mega minion just in time, and then just a slow chip. And look at this, double Electro Wizards. The Giant kind of had no shot. No shot. I mean, you got to give the
Never
Giant...
had a chance to reach that right side tower. He was making push after push, and he never really mixed it up. Do you think it would have been better if Nemsensei had kind of played left side, right side, trying to wait until a P.E.K.K.A came out before making the attack with the Giant in there? But you know Surge is going to hold the Giant.
Yeah, he's going to hold it.
P.E.K.K.A until you send the Giant in. So what can you do there?
I don't know. I think you need to add Supercell to maybe make a new card implemented where you can add a sword to a Giant for 1 extra elixir. Then the Giant costs 6 instead of 5 and start swinging at things.
Or,
you know, maybe.
Or we can give the Giant like why a sword when he could shoot something? We can give him a cannon.
That's
right.
We
we can make him cost 6 elixir. And
That's true.
He'd be like a Royal Giant.
A Royal Giant?
Yeah.
You don't say.
Yeah.
I mean, is that going to be a good card if it comes out? I mean, the Royal Giant has such a prestige name.
Prestigious title. Yeah, maybe an Elite Giant then.
Yeah, Elite Giant. Yeah.
Something along those lines. But this is a best of 3. Remember, guys, so we've got another game coming up soon. Game 2 between Surge and Nemsensei will be potentially decisive if Surge manages to get another win there, put it in his column, then Nem will very likely stay at the bottom of the leaderboard, but it'll give Surge the #1 spot. He'll be above Soking at that point. If he manages to get the win here, he'll be 8-2.
8-2. That just has like a nice ring to it.
Does it?
8-2.
8-2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's definitely going to. Yeah, it's definitely going to cement him at the top of the leaderboard. You know, he'll be. I mean, besides Soking, who kind of has 2 wins, 2 losses as well, he's the only other person with 2 losses, the lowest amount. 8 wins going into, you know, does he have another match today? Yes, he's going to play Baron as well, Surgical Goblin. But here's the thing, Nemsensei is not going to go down without a fight in this matchup. I expect him to come out, you know, with a deck maybe that we've never even seen before, maybe catch Surgical Goblin off guard and really kind of put him into a corner and say, this is going to go match number 3. I'm not going to go out without a fight here. We're going to find out what these guys are going to be running in this matchup. Surgical Goblin, Nemsensei, match number 2. Ice Golem coming out from Nemsensei. Log from Nemsensei as well, just to clear out the goblins.
Rolling through, and it looks like Surgical Goblin might be playing the same deck here. Wow, Nem playing that pump really far to the left. Kind of a strange placement by him. Hardly ever see it exactly right there.
And what a poison.
Going to be able to catch the tower and the Elixir Collector, chipping away at that Night Witch too. She will survive the poison, but won't have too many hit points. Looks like Nemsensei is playing a little bit lighter of a deck here. He's chipping away at the left side tower as well. Miner's connected, and he's getting some good work off.
Yeah, interesting deck here. Miner with a Night Witch combination. We haven't really ever seen this with a pump as well. Kind of interested to see what kind of variant he's going to run.
Nemsensei was obviously trying to soak that bandit hit with the Ice Golem, but couldn't get him far enough out in front. And even Nem's own bandit was a little bit too close to get a dash off onto the attacking bandit.
Yeah,
this result there for Nem. And once again, Surge is playing the Juke Miner.
Oh, just when everything just starts going wrong for you, Surgical Goblin, it's one of those things when you only have a Night Witch to counter a Miner that comes in for your pump, and the opposition has a poison. So now your Night Witch pretty much is almost dead to start. But here it is, the Electro Wizard, that's gonna be the MVP. There's really nothing else you can say about that. That just shut down 7 elixir worth of troops.
Wow, Bandits dashing out on the right side. Surge is far ahead in the damage game. You know, it is worth mentioning once again what was going on there when Surge sent the Miner at the same side as the Elixir Collector, but not to it. It's going straight for the tower, getting a lot of chip damage off, and what you expect as the defender, reasonably, when you've got an Elixir Collector on one side of the map, is that the Miner's going straight for it. And let's see if he plays the Juke again. Oh, he goes straight for the tower this time. Nem tries to catch it on the tower, but Surge has once again mind-gamed him out of the match. Miner going straight for the pump will take it out, a 3-for-6 clean trade. You know, maybe that pump got a little bit of juice out of it or something like that. But
it may have gotten juice, but that's not what you need.
No,
I mean, you need more juice than that. You need some more quality. More quality OJ on the pumps.
Ooh, Nemsensei with the 3 Muskies, though. One of his favorite decks, and he's not out of this game just yet.
Not
Still
yet.
above 1,000 hit points on both towers. Big attack coming in the right side, though. The Poison should be able to take out these Muskies. Can Nem commit to this left lane push? No, he's going to try to use the right side Muskie to get a little bit of job, get a little work done over there. Oh, Pekka coming in from Surge. No, it's this.
Night Witch gonna lock onto the tower.
Yeah, locks the tower, and she gets over 1,000 damage off the right side. Bat stacked up on top. We're gonna get that thing way far down. And Nemsensei is doing quite well now. 490 on the right side. Means he could actually turn this thing around and get a win. Oh, right on there. Log rolls through one of the goblins, but doesn't hit both of them. Oh, wow.
Ooh, not in log range yet, though.
Oh, he's gonna have to defend against a big push on the right lane too, and he doesn't have enough elixir for the 3 Muskies.
Oh.
This could be Surge's final blow. The coup de grace.
Oh, Bandit's gonna face her.
Oh, Night Witch defends, and the Bandit doesn't get the dash off. Right side tower could go down to a Miner. Here we go. Miner locks the E-Wiz. Log rolls through, but that's not going to be the kill there. Nemsensei needs a little bit more added on.
Miner. Can it go? Miner's going to come in on the right from Surge. Is this going to connect on the tower before the log happens? Log comes in from Surgical. The Miner's going to hit the tower, but that's
Miner from Nemsensei. Once again, stop, but the log gets the kill. Good game from Surgical Goblin. And Nemsensei has tied this series up.
Wow, he is not done yet. Beautifully played. Wow. Unbelievable. Unbelievably played. Beautiful Miners. Got a chip damage off. The logs coming out, cleared up everything that needed to clear up, and he just wasn't able to finish the game with the Miners, the Bandit. Nothing ever connected big, and the little chip was the difference in the game. Big Mama Pekka did not connect this game.
Just enjoying a little bit more quality OJ.
The quality
Through
OJ.
those great quality plays by both players. You know, Surgical Goblin so far ahead at the beginning, but couldn't quite finish things off there. I said, you know, I knew Nemsensei was still in this match when we saw 3 Muskies marching down the right lane. And the chutzpah to add a Night Witch in front of that Musketeer on the right side, getting over 1,000 damage peeled off that tower was really what put Nemsensei ahead. He was struggling to connect the entire game, but getting into double elixir time and knowing exactly when to add on to that right side push. Right here, it's when you see the Night Witch coming out in front. That Musketeer almost died, and if it weren't for the Night Witch, she definitely would have. With just a sliver of health left, though, she locks this right side tower after finishing off. No, maybe she doesn't, but it was the Night Witch that got the damage in there. Night Witch and Bats taking the right side down to 490 was
That's
Brilliant
that's
play.
1,742 damage on that tower. Math on the fly. Math on the
We got
fly.
some math on the fly?
That math. That's how much damage was done on that single push.
Oh, at least 2,000 though, right? Or what
No,
was
17.
it? It had already taken some damage before?
Whatever I just said, yeah, it was at 2208. Whatever I just said before
Okay.
was the number, I think.
That must be the
Don't
number.
quote.
I mean, you
Don't
sound
quote.
pretty certain about this right now.
Certain.
We're going to rewind the VOD.
Rewind it.
If you are one digit off.
One digit off. Oh, man. Well, I mean,
Crucified in Twitch chat.
listen.
Oh, oh.
We passed 3rd grade math last week.
Yeah.
We're trying to pass 4th
We're going
grade
to 4th
this week.
grade now.
We're going to 4th grade. I mean, that was a little difficult for 4th grade math, though, Woody. Don't, you know.
Right on the fly, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I had to do that, you know.
You go to the Math Olympiads for that sort of work.
I know. What is that, 5th grade?
You got it right.
I think I did do that. I think it was like 5th grade.
I think they had different grades for that. I think I did
Yeah.
that in like 7th grade.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, interesting. Well, we're going to find out if we are going or if Twitter is going to destroy me for that. But nevertheless, Surgical Goblin is going to be playing again versus Baron in this next matchup. Going to be a good matchup, Woody. What do you think is going to play out here? Surgical Goblin just got that victory. Nice. He's already #1 on the leaderboard now. It's which we are leading to 8-2. Great record. Can he make it 9-2? And I feel like at 9-2, it's almost, I wouldn't say a guarantee, you know, but it's a really, really strong possibility to get into the next match. But Nemsensei,
I think he's
versus
guaranteed to
Loupanji.
qualify for stage 5 at this
Hold on,
point.
I
It's
think
just,
somebody accepted the wrong match here.
Whoops.
For match #3.
yeah, it looks like Loupanji accepted the match. Well, avert your gaze, have no fear. This is not the actual game that we're watching here.
Yeah. It's not over yet.
That was a rhyme. Now you have to do a rhyme
Yeah.
too. We just learned in chat
yeah.
is not a rapper. No
What?
rhymes dropping.
Wait, I tried to know. I'm out. You don't want to try to do that to me. But before this, match #3. Okay, Surgical Goblin versus Nemsensei. You know, Surge needs this victory here.
Yeah.
Nemsensei
Needs this victory.
needs this
here.
victory, I guess you could say, right? I mean, still two wins still is kind of in the mix of things. I mean, it's
Nemsensei basically has
he
to
still
win
control.
all of his matches for the rest of Stage 4 to even have a chance at qualifying for Stage 5.
Possible.
Surgical Goblin has pretty much already qualified for Stage 5, but might need to win all of his matches from here on out in order to be in the top 2 to get preferential seating.
That's true.
So they both have a lot on the line here, just kind of in different ways. Surge is fighting to be at the top. Nem is fighting to survive.
That's true. Fighting to survive is kind of like one of those things you always have, like, you know, that back against the wall feeling of, you know, I need to perform now. Whereas if you're on the top, you kind of a little lean back, you know, you kind of a little relax. But at the same time, with the preferential seating here of how this works, every match is important. You definitely want a first round bye. I mean, that is worth thousands, you know, a first race, literally, almost. So, to be honest, I don't really know who's going to win this next matchup, but I think it's going to come down to the last push, the last fireball, the last rocket, and I think Nemsensei might be able to come out with an upset here, Woody. For some reason, it's telling me Nemsensei, you know, I feel like he's going to pull this one out. I don't know why, but I think he's going to be making a comeback.
You got to think for the underdog.
Yeah.
You want to give him a chance to win.
It's true. That's
true. Getting a victory against one of the top-ranked players, and indeed right now, the top-ranked player on the ladder, seems to be the story for today. Loupanji with a victory over Soking, and Nemsensei now tied 1-1 against Surgical Goblin, going into this final matchup in the best of 3. Going to be having to work hard against Surge in order to get it, but I think that the factors that are in his favor are that Surge got a little cocky in that last match. I think that he was, you know, willing to go left side, right side, just throw damage at the tower because he figured that he was going to be able to defend against whatever Nemsensei could throw at him. Turned out to not be the case with a big Night Witch lock and like 6 or 8 bats. I couldn't even count how many there were. A quality of bats stacked on the right side tower. It was a lot of damage in a very short amount of time. Sneaky miner damage to finish that right side tower off. Gave Nemsensei the win. And he could potentially do the same thing in this next game.
Yeah.
We could see Surge starting off with a massive lead, just playing very smart, very, you know, ABC Clash Royale, not making any mistakes, but then just not have the right tools in his deck
to finish off with D.
Yeah. You got to get all the way to XYZ in the Crown Championship.
That's true. It's not how you start. It's, can you maintain the entire game without making one mistake? That one mistake, like you said, that Night Witch locking on, 1,700 damage off in your tower, blink of an eye changes. Comfortable, I'm going to go left, I'm going to go right, I'm going to throw a little damage here, a little damage there. Uh-oh. Now what happened? I'm only on C. I got to finish the alphabet.
The legs got kind of from underneath you.
Yeah.
While you were working on your arms, you forgot leg day, man. And Loupanji, or excuse me, Loupanji earlier against Soking. Nemsensei against Surgical Goblin just rolls it through. And it wasn't even very close at the end there. It was just a, oh my God, when is Surge going to go down? It's like Nemsensei keeps throwing things at him. Surgical Goblin might have actually dealt more tower damage overall. You know, I'd have to check the replay later, but he was hitting left and right side. I think that left side got down to like triple digits. Yeah. Right side got pretty far down, not all the way into that range, but I think that the concentration that Nem had to have to be able to only go for right lane is what got him. And he did that same sort of play in the previous match that he had today. When he was up against, I believe, he was up against Islaw earlier, and he only went right lane. He was drilling in with giants, even as P.E.K.K.A.s were coming at him and just chopping him down. He never really switched it up. And I'd have to ask him later why he didn't, because a lot of players will choose to play multiple lanes in order to try to take advantage of their opponent's inability to counter multiple threats at once. But just going hard in the paint, one side of the map, never switching, never being deterred from your task. I think that kind of describes Nemsensei pretty well, just as a player.
That's beatdown right there. That's beatdown.
Chop you in half.
I'm going to place my units in one lane. You beat me.
You're going to get smashed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, when a P.E.K.K.A.'s on the field, I mean, the Giant's going to need some armor or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. But this is going to be very interesting because we've seen, Nemsensei go to Giant. Does he go back to Giant or Golem, fearing Surgical Goblin could have that P.E.K.K.A. where you don't want to ever have to deal with that? You know what I mean? That's one of those cards where you look at it, you get scared, and it's like, it's like you don't know what to do. You know what I mean? Because then, just like you said, am I going to have to go left? Am I going to go right? But a player like Surgical Goblin's going to hold on to that P.E.K.K.A. and say, I'm going to keep it here. Wherever you play your, win condition card, which is going to be a giant or a golem, this card that I have in my pocket is just going to left or right, just drop.
Pocket drop.
Just pocket drop.
You know what? Surge has been driving his path to victory here. He also is a rider of bicycle. We saw the surgical trike the last time.
Surgical bike.
Maybe we could see that again.
Oh, are we now?
My name is Frank, my in-game name is Surgical Goblin, and right now I'm the champion of Europe. I live in the middle of the Netherlands. It's a quite small village called Almen. This is where it all began. I would describe myself as a surprise player. I'm really versatile, so I could use a lot of decks.
Surgical Goblin runs off-meta decks. You can never really prepare against this guy.
I like to switch up my deck, so my opponent never expects what deck I would use.
A rocket from Surge will finish things off, and he claims victory again.
My favorite Clash Royale card is the Princess or the Miner. I think for me, those are the most important cards. They only cost 3 elixir each, so you can get a lot of value out of them and cycle your deck faster. I really like fast cycle decks because you're able to adapt your cycle and you can punish your opponent's cycle and keep track of that. Yeah, there you go, that's a good game. I think practice makes perfect. I watch old matches just because you can see what you have done wrong and you can improve by that. And I think for me, I could improve with counting elixir and keeping track of my opponent's cycle a bit better. If I keep at this level, I think this could be pretty big for me because right now being the champion of Europe, maybe I could become the champion of Worlds in London at the end of this year.
Is it the return of Surgical Goblin?
The once and future king.
To be honest, I don't think I see anyone as an obstacle.
He sees nobody as an obstacle. Definitely. He's going to definitely, have an obstacle of Soking, who's already beaten him in this Crown Championship EU. When, if he makes it to the bracket stage and has to go through him, Soking kind of looking like an obstacle for Surgical Goblin. But, he just said he wants to be the world champion. That's his goal. He didn't mention EU.
A bunch of crazy.
He mentioned the entire thing.
Yeah, he did. And you know what? I'm really curious what you guys think out there, if Surge is going to take the win here or if Nemsensei is going to win. I'm keeping an eye here in chat, and I also want you to tweet at us. Let us know. Are you rooting for, do you believe that Surgical Goblin, the top dog, the alpha male, the big cheese, is going to get the win yet again, be able to defeat Nemsensei, or in this rematch of the ages, for once?
Big cheese.
And once again,
the big cheese.
The underdog. Cue the Rocky theme song. Climbing from the bottom, making his way toward the top. Nemsensei at the very end of the leaderboard, but starting to get a couple wins up there with specialized knowledge on how to beat Surgical Goblin and the tenacity to grab the W. Is he going to get the win? Surge or Nem?
Tweet
Let us know.
At Clash, hashtag Clash Royale.
Just tweet out. You don't even have to. I mean, hashtags are great. just start tweeting right now.
Nemsensei?
Let us know on Facebook.
Or Surgical Goblin on Facebook.
And Twitters, yeah.
Yeah, on everything.
On the Twitches.
This is going to be a clash
Twitch
for the
chat,
ages.
1 for Surge, 2 for Nemsensei.
1 to 2?
No, 1 for Surge, 2 for Nemsensei.
Oh, Nemsensei.
Yeah.
You know what?
Well,
that's my prediction.
His opponent next, right?
Yeah.
You think Nem's going to win?
I mean, I got to root for the underdog.
Okay, tell me why. Oh, yeah, you said earlier.
Yeah.
But why? But why?
I like that Rocky story. That's why I was singing it before.
Oh, yeah.
Nemsensei. It kind of goes together.
Yeah,
really.
We got a pretty clutch clip of you last time singing something.
I
hope we can
Please
get another
don't
one
ever
of
clip
those
me again.
Well, the game has now finally gone underway, guys. We were just as patient as you were. Hopefully, you're still with us here. Surgical Goblin up on top and Nem on the bottom. A game for the ages. This one's going down in the history books.
Yep. Mega Minion on the right-hand side. The Goblins. Ooh, gonna sneak through.
Mega Minion.
The Goblin's gonna get a down. Lava Hound coming out from Nemsensei. Wow. Miner coming out on the left-hand side, going to get a little bit of chip here for Surgical Goblin. Lava Hound on the right. Could this be a Lava Loon variant from Nemsensei?
I actually think that he might be trying to juke out Surgical Goblin here. He has played a Lava Hound deck without Balloon. Never mind, there's the Balloon.
Well,
This is definitely a Lava Loon deck.
Oh, the miss out! 2 bats are still alive! The bats, are they going to take it down like the Bears? Those bats are going to get eliminated.
Bats.
The bats. No, Lava
Reference
Pups.
lost on the European crowd. Right side does go down to 1824 though. It looks like Surge is taking some damage. He's dishing it out with the Miner. But light and cheap troops like Bats and Goblins are great at taking out the mid-sized bodies that Nemsensei is throwing at him.
Pekka on the left from Surgical Goblin here. Definitely was expecting Nemsensei to run a Giant or a Golem.
Dude. Lava Hound at the right means that Nemsensei might be going for the 3 crown here. He can soak this Pekka and then just try to drop a big bomb out the right lane. Surge is going to be short
Oh
on
no, this is it.
Oh, the commitment by
no.
Surge on the left is good.
That's a huge
Nice
mistake.
fireball, but the Bandit survives. And he's definitely lost the left side tower. But
He might lose the game here. I don't
can
think
he
he can
hold
stop
up?
this.
Well, the tower's going to be able to take out the Bandit. Pekka and Ewiz are still going to cause some trouble over here, though. Oh, yeah, Mega Minion's not going to get
No,
enough.
it's
Pekka
over.
locks the tower. One more chop, and it's done.
Big Mama Pekka gonna take care of business. Surgical Goblin, no shades this time.
Pumps his fist, shaking his head. He said, don't throw that at me. Come on. Get out of here, that nonsense. Sending a Lava Hound down the opposite lane. You're going to try a 3 crown, the Surgical Goblin. Not this time, sir. Nemsensei drops the game, but a closely fought 2-1 match. And Surge will move on to first place now. What have I got him at? I believe 8-2?
8-2.
Is that right?
That is right. And he's about to go into a match versus Baron, who's going to be his next opponent. Great matchup here. Nemsensei just falls to Surgical Goblin. He kind of had, a little bit, with the decks. It was okay here. He missed the zap, which his balloon never connected to the tower because the miss zap, the 2 bats, cleaned up everything on the back end. But let's take a look at this. The triple, the 3 crown, as you say. Bandit gonna phase into the tower. The Pekka gonna come out. The Electro Wizard just continuing to stun up everything. The Miner gonna get a little bit of chip off here. Not really needed. And that's going to be that. Just like that, 3 crown. And like you said, he went right side. Pekka was left side. Fireball came out. Fireball hit Goblins. But guess what? The Bandit's still alive. Missed the Electro Wizard. The Bandit goes onto the tower. The Pekka hits the tower. The Electro Wizard comes out. And then now you're really left with nothing. The only thing he really had in his hand was a balloon, if I, call correctly. He had a balloon, 2 spells, and really nothing to be able to defend it. The Mega Minion, came out, didn't really get any value. And just like that, Surgical Goblin moving on up to 8-2 into the leaderboard. Number 1, now in sole position of first place. And we're going to see him again in a quick turnaround versus Baron here, former teammates. Going to be interesting. A matchup. I mean, Baron did take down Surgical Goblin, I believe, in the spring season. So it's going to be, a matchup where these two know each other well. Electro Wizard once again being banned by Baron. Inferno Tower being banned by Baron. I'm sorry, Surgical Goblin banning Electro Wizard from Baron. So good bans, but what does the Inferno Tower ban from Baron mean in this matchup, Woody? Do you think maybe Surgical Goblin still runs that Logbag archetype, but with the Tornado that we were alluding to earlier, which was used a ton in ladder at the end of the season, all over the top 200, they just replaced the Inferno Tower with the Tornado?
We could potentially see a little bit of switch up there, still running the same sort of log bait deck as before, just using Tornado instead of Inferno. I do want to point out, though, that we get the same ban from Surgical this time against Baron. As you noted earlier, lots of players are banning Electro Wizard against Baron. It's a card that has had respect for a long time, one of the best counterattackers in the game, and has actually been rising up, surging, we might say, in the ladder usage rates. It's one of the most used cards. In fact, I think it was top 10 this past season. I haven't published these card popularity snapshot just yet, but I've been checking out the stats, and it's the most used 4-cost card in the game right now. There's a couple of 1- and 2-cost cards that are above it in usage, but being able to zap, having spawn damage, being able to hit multiple targets or just going for that single target at the same time. So much value from the E-Wiz, and Baron knows how to play it very, very well. But you're not going to see him playing it this time. Surgical Goblin has banned the Electro Wizard. Inferno Tower is out and gone as well.
Yeah.
We could go
What do you
ahead.
think we're going to see?
No, please.
Okay, I'll go. So this matchup is going to be, I think we probably will see that bait deck come out from one player. Maybe not, though, because neither of these players are top high ladder players. You know, their accounts really aren't, you know, maxed out per se. So we might see some Golem action. You know, Baron might throw around some, you know, some P.E.K.K.A. Miner. I mean, he's been wanting to play P.E.K.K.A. Miner for a while, but no Electro Wizard. That's a very big crutch defensive card. And without the Electro Wizard, it really shuts down a lot of these, you know, big kind of heavy pushes that rely on only really the Electro Wizard as their kind of air defense, you know, because just like you said before, it has the zap, it has the double electrons, you know, to kill the minions, it kills bats, you know, it's a jack of all trades type of unit, and it's one of the most unique cards in the game.
And you want to know a fun fact? The Electro Wizard's name, it's Jack. His name is Jack. Jack the Electro Wizard.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
Jack of all trades.
There you go. He does everything very, very well. You know, he's not really too much of a specialist, but being able to zap and reset Inferno dragons and towers is super helpful whenever you have a big tank out in front. He just does a great job. He's just a good old dude. He's just good old Jack.
Good old Jack.
Good old Jack the Electro Wizard.
Now that Baron banned the Inferno Tower, probably expecting an Electro Wizard ban, he's not going to need to rely on that crutch of the Electro Wizard to shut down Inferno Towers, to shut down Inferno Dragons, because guess what? No Inferno Tower.
Nope.
Probably Mega Knight, Inferno Dragon, Minor Control from Surgical Goblin, though, to kind of elude the banning phase, because that's what he does very well. I think we've seen I think the two people who have been using the ban phase the best, I think, are Loupanji and Surgical Goblin. Soking is up there as well, but I just think Surgical Goblin and Loupanji, with their bans that they've been picking and the decks that they've been crafting around the bans, I think are the most creative. And I really am excited to see what Surgical is going to bring, because every game it feels like he brings a different kind of element. He plays it a little bit differently, just like you said before. He'll hit you on the left, he'll hit you on the right. You know, unfortunately, he lost that game. You know, he goes left, he goes right. But let's jump right into this next match. Baron, Surgical Goblin, game number 1.
How much knowledge do you have of boxing?
A lot.
You knew about boxing. You think Surge is like a southpaw then?
Definitely. Loupanji's 100% a southpaw.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Never know what they're going to throw at you.
Never know.
Always getting you off your game. Nice punish here by Baron. Punching into that right side tower, but to be honest, probably didn't get as much damage as he was hoping for there. Right side goes down about 400 hit points, but Surge holds on with the defense and swipes through this miner over here.
And it looks like Golem versus Giant, and Baron is pissed.
Oh, he's not happy at all. That was a great defense by Surgical Goblin. Low on Elixir, but using Goblins and Ice Spirit very, very well. Just whatever you have available, throw it out on defense, and gets the job done here.
In the Golem drop coming out from Surgical Goblin.
Yeah.
Here comes the Giant on the right-hand side for the punish. The Bandit as well from Baron. Is it going to connect on the tower? Surge is like,
Surge is going to let this tower go down. He might go for the 3, though.
Oh, 100%.
Oh, look, the Giant's pushing that Bandit out of the way. Almost started soaking damage for her so that the Goblins wouldn't be able to take her out. But
Baron doesn't have the poison in Cycle. It's still 1 card away from Cycle. Beautiful Ice Spirit now poisoned in Cycle, but it's not even going to matter. Night Witch going to connect onto the tower with the Golems, and this Golem is going to explode on the tower with the bats, and that's going to be tower trade for Surge.
Knock it down. It's a 1-1 draw now, and Surge is probably happier going for the 3 crown, seeing as he's playing the Golem. It's a heavy troop, and it's something that can definitely go all the way. Baron's Giant push got that right side tower down. You know, he got the 1-0 lead earlier on, but I think Surge is going to be well placed in the late game, and especially with these Goblin defenses, 2 for 3, knocking that miner out.
Wow, when you have to arrow. He has arrows, and arrows are going to be completely useless this game.
Yeah.
That's not good. And
I haven't seen anything from Surge yet that would make me believe it would be helpful.
Maybe bats, but...
Yeah, Baron's not too happy, is he?
No, I wouldn't be happy either. Giant coming down with minions on the left. Spartan here.
Surge must be thinking that, you know what, we're going to do another tower trade, going to go for the 3, and yet with the second golem at it on top. I don't see any breaks on this crazy train. Baron has no hope of being able to stop this attack, but he's going for the 3 crown himself. Minion horde on the tower.
Poison.
The poison spell from Surgical Goblin is able to take them out. Double golem on the right side.
Noah's Ark versus the Giant, and Noah's Ark is going to prevail. 2 of each unit. You have double Night Witches. You got double, triple now Mega Minions. You got 2 golems. Jeez, when you got 2 of everything, it's almost impossible to win, especially if you're Baron.
Hey, and chatting, if it's Noah's Ark, then there must be a dude golem and a lady golem, right?
You know what?
I think we call him the Brolem if he's the dude.
That's true.
What do we call him if it's a lady golem?
The Brolem and the Girlem.
The Girlem. Ooh, I like it.
The Girlem and the
Brolem and the Girlem.
Yeah.
Well, they sure did knock that tower down. What a nice little date that they had, just walking around, punching a tower down.
Moseying.
Yeah.
Relaxing all cool.
They were a base race at the very end, and you can see the very beginnings of it here. Giant minion attack out the left lane, tears down Surge's left side tower, and Baron actually gets the 1-0 lead first and gets the 2-1 lead first. But Surge has just such a big push. He was very comfortable going for the 3 crown. Baron adds on some more minions to this last attack here, but the consistency and duration of that poison prevents any of them from connecting, and there was nothing that Baron can do at that point.
No.
Once you lost your main attack to the clutch poison at the very end, that was the only poison spell that Surge played all game long. He was waiting for that base race, and he had the exact right tool to be able to stop it cold.
All he needed was 1 spell in order to stop 8 elixir, plus, you know, do a little bit of damage to the bandit, do a little bit of damage to the giant, 5 for the minion horde, 3 for the minions. And if you're Baron there, you just got to be shaking your head like, I had that game in control, and then double golems come down, and all of a sudden, just like that, my tower's done.
Baron dropping the Angry King emotes. Surge is going to start off with a Goblin Barrel on the left. It
This might
connects
be.
a few 1 stab in there. 2 stabs, actually.
This might be the tornado. Miner coming in on the left-hand side with the bandit. Miner going to get a little bit of chip. Ooh, tornadoed, and just like we expected, we are going to see a tornado log bait variation. It's got the Goblin Gang, it's got the Princess still, it's got the log, the rocket, it's got everything in the log bait, and there's the rocket pummeling this Ice Wizard 10 feet down below ground and doing 493 damage to the tower. P.E.K.K.A on the left-hand side for Baron here.
Could be a good punish. You know, Surge has got about another drop or 2 of elixir, but he's facing Big Mama P.E.K.K.A.
Big Mama P.E.K.K.A is going to mean...
And Surge probably doesn't have the Inferno Tower in his deck either because he's playing Tornado with this log bait.
Yeah, the Inferno Tower being banned made this happen, made this
great
possible.
log from Baron. He's committing to this P.E.K.K.A push, but will it get value?
Ah, ooh, eh, ooh, eh, ooh, eh.
What song are you singing there? Is it the Witch Doctor song?
It's like it's close.
Bandit dashes the left lane and connects to great effect. Left side for Surge down to 11-26.
So much damage.
And Baron's getting pretty close to putting this thing into a 1-1 draw. Can he defend against these barrels, though? Nice log, gets it done. But he still has to deal with this Princess outright, and he's low on elixir. He paid for that big hit at the left.
That he did, and Baron making sure he got punished.
A calm falls over the arena.
Dun-dun-dun.
An ice spirit.
They kiss.
They kiss.
No, they don't kiss, actually.
Ooh.
It was kind of like
Romantic.
it rejected one of them, you know?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
The blue ice spirit just kind of sat there. And
Yeah, it was like,
can you not? Can you please not?
It's kind of like when you go, you know, to kiss a girl and then she
Yeah.
gives you the cheek.
Yeah,
You
you know
know?
a lot about that, don't you, Jen?
Yeah, I do. It's kind of a hard life, you know?
Left side poison onto the tower, clips the Goblin Gang as well. Juke barrel out the back, but Baron's going to defend with Goblins. That's a nice 2-for-3 trade as well.
Yeah.
P.E.K.K.A marching on in, and Surge just kind of rolls a log into nothing. If a log rolls through and doesn't kill anything,
Doesn't make a sound?
does it make a sound? Good question.
I don't think so.
Ooh, good miner there by Baron. Also takes out the Princess. It's going to provide a little bit of tanking here. But the King Tower being activated is not a good sign for Baron. Nice play earlier by Surge getting his King up. Ooh, Bandit dashes onto the Princess, takes her out. And there's pretty much nothing left for Surge to throw at this left lane. He can try to rocket cycle or just get another barrel to connect. But look at this. Whoa, what just happened there?
The log clipped the Ice Spirit,
Okay.
so the Ice Spirit died and wasn't able to freeze
And then
the
a
miner.
little knight just like appeared out of nowhere. But left side tower for Baron down to 13-19. Ooh, I don't think that Miner Poison's gonna be able to finish it off. Just a little bit more. Baron, it's time, sir. Drop your log on the arena. Throw in one final miner, and that should be able to finish things off, right? Oh no, he's got a defensive log. Miner gets pulled back into the corner, but reaches, no, can't quite reach the tower. If there had been a log on that left lane, Baron would have done it. But Poison will finish it off anyways. GG. Surgical Goblin must feel sick now with that Poison taking the tower down.
Yeah. Ugh.
It's a 1-1 draw now between Baron and Surgical Goblin. You'll recall from the spring season that Baron defeated Surgical Goblin a 2-1 in his matchup in the round robin stage. Can he reverse sweep the #1 player again?
It's looking pretty good. I mean, he dominated that second match, definitely got momentum back, and Surgical Goblin maybe 8-2, but, you know, Baron definitely, just like you said, you know, has always been, you know, somebody who can, you know, get a win off of Surge. And this is a huge match for Baron. It's a big match for Surgical Goblin, but let's just take a look at this last push. Tornado going to just tornado it to the corner here. Doesn't get that off, but look at this. The 4 elixir on the Poison, saves it up, kills the tower, no big deal. And like we were saying earlier, Baron, you know, if this game is probably going to go to a match 3. You know, both these players very prestigious. You know, a lot of great matches between these two. A lot of great clash-offs, per se.
Yes.
Between these two players.
Great moments in Clash history.
Who do you think is going to come out? Tweet at us. Who do you think is going to come out and Clash Royale? Use Clash Royale. Baron or Surgical Goblin in this third match. It's going to be a good one. And just, you know, Surgical Goblin versus Nemsensei, great match there. Went to match number 3. This one as well. I'm excited to see who's going to win this. And you know what? Surge just keeps proving me wrong. Every single time I say, you want to know what? I'm going to go with, you know, the opponent. Surge must listen and be like, you're going to be wrong. Ed, let me tell you something. I've been following Surge on Twitter all week, and he said he is going to be finishing and first this week. He's going to make sure he wins everything. He's put in the time, put in the practice, went overtime, you know, because, you know, he stumbled a little bit, you know, in the past weeks, and he wanted to make sure, you know, to all, you know, the people out there who support him, that he was going to put on a great show, and he really did the work, and we're seeing it here. And can he just scrape out this last victory versus Baron, you know, 2-1, you know, for today, I believe he would end, and, you know, it'll be a great match for him.
Right. Yeah. Baron got the victory over Loupanji earlier today, and I think he got a default victory over Adam. So yeah, he's considered 2-1 at this point. And with the 1-1 draw, you know, I gotta root for the underdog from Germany.
Baron, yeah.
I gotta
go for Surge.
I mean,
I'll do it.
My head says Surge, my heart says Baron. Much as I love Surge, I love the underdog story even more. We're going to start off a little bit slow here. Baron just tossing a little Ice Spirit at the left. Surge going to have a big response to this miner, though. Ooh, great poison by Baron. That minion horde is taken out, and Baron is looking pretty dang good. And this matchup just needs to hold on to those poisons to finish off minion hordes. Punish coming in from Baron. Bandit and Goblins is a great attack, and she dashes the tower. Left side's already taken over 1,000 damage, and we got a miner onto the right side of that pump, but it locks the Ice Golem first. 2 swings onto the Ice Golem before he switches off onto the pump.
That's a really aggressive poison, but Baron had to waste his entire elixir pool to defend, so in essence, it's Surgical Goblin's looking strong right now.
Surgical Goblin up about 3 elixir, but dang, Baron's got 1,000 damage already off that left side tower. Actually, even 1,100 damage. Trying to punish the lack of poison in Baron's hand, though, and the advantage in elixir. Surge sends in the 3 Musketeers. 2 on the right, 1 on the left.
The 3 Musketeers, one kind of just splits off, you know, not really part of the fam over here on this push.
That's cool. She got her sister with her. Bandit's going to help out. Goblins to finish off this attack, and P.E.K.K.A. obviously can chop through the Musketeers, no problem. Baron with a P.E.K.K.A. miner control deck.
Pekka Minor control. It's something that he used a lot in the earlier weeks of CCGS. And Minor
Ice Wizard.
continue and chip it. The Ice Wizard instead of the Electro Wizard.
Yeah,
Interesting swap
frosty. Obviously didn't have access to the Electro Wizard because Surge had to go and ban it. Not going to see any E-Wizes in this game. But Baron's still getting some value out here. A little bit of splash damage from the E-Wiz, and he's a little bit cheaper. You know, he usually gets the job done. But
Minor.
nice Minor, and the back Surge is not going to counter it at all. Finally goes down, but Baron definitely got the better end of that exchange.
100%. Now the Musketeers are going to start cycling, and Baron is in trouble.
A little early on that poison. I think that it might not be able to kill the Musketeers, and that could be unfortunate if Baron faces a big tank in front of these ladies.
Oh,
that's a big clump. We got Minion Horde and the Bandit trying to punish the lack of poison, but he cycles back to the poison again, but the Minions still connect. Right side getting taken down by the Miner, and that should be able to finish it off. Baron needs to tear this left side tower down if he wants to get this game into overtime.
Everything going in on the left-hand side, the log coming out. The Bandit, is it going to phase onto the tower? He's throwing goblins. He's going to try to connect. So much life still left on the tower. The poison, just not enough. The Miner going to come out. He threw everything he had in front of that tower, and Surgical Goblin surgically asserting dominance. 9-2 now. Surgical Goblin. He wanted to finish in first at the end of today, and he is looking strong. 9-2 now. Baron falls. I believe Baron is 4-5, if I am correct.
I believe you are correct indeed. 4-5 for Baron. The only way that Surge could even lose his indisputable claim to first place is if Soking wins this next match. He's going up against 10. Surge is in first place right now, but he would still be tied for first even if Soking manages to get the win here. You know what? I think that the one crucial mistake that Baron made in that last match was poisoning a little bit too soon on the right side. That let those Musketeers survive. And even though he was able to cycle back to poison again to take out the minions at the very end, they were just a little bit too close. He's a little bit too slow. And with that, you're going to see that big attack here right now. Bandit out in front, blocking for this push. Poison comes in to kill these minions, but they're just too close to the tower to be denied. Miner finishes that thing off. And Baron got that left side down to 394. It was a good effort there, but the timing was just not in his favor. And you know what? I think in some cases, it might be a little bit better to bleed Elixir in order to get the clutch counter to your opponent's attack than to just throw it immediately, praying and hoping that you'll have something by the time that it comes at you to be able to shut them down.
Yeah, the Miner snuck in there, and, you know, just wasn't enough damage at the end from Baron. He tried to do everything he possibly could, but one late poison, not enough Elixir, and just like you said, the early poison, you know, on the right-hand side, the Musketeers didn't die to that poison. Then he had to deal with them on the right-hand side, so he had to log them and just wasn't able to cycle back to poison fast enough. And the minions do so much damage. You just saw in a blink of an eye, minions connected. They each swung twice, and all of a sudden that tower lost 700 hit points. Just you didn't even see it, you know. So now Surgical Goblin. You know, first place, not doing good. He's in the green. Soking, you know, still, I believe, in the green as well, still in second. Baron, you know, in the blue still, you know, still kind of floating around, you know, still in the top 6. And I believe the next match that we are going to have, just like you alluded to earlier, was Soking versus Tindala. Tindala definitely wants, you know, to get this win, to get back into it. He's 3-4 currently at this stage. If he goes to 4-4, I think he will leapfrog Baron.
Okay.
So it's very, very crucial for him to win this, to get into the top 6, to, you know, get some breathing room at least, you know, in his, you know, victories and defeats in the round robin stage. It's still early for him. He's only played 7 games. I think he's played the least.
We're going to see a lot more of him soon, though, because we've only got 4 matches today. 10 is in 3 of them. Wow. Tindala is going to be the dude of the next half hour or so, going up against some monster matches. First, of course, we've got Soking, the #1 player in the region. He's actually going to face Baron later, though.
Oh, he is.
So in addition to getting the opportunity to kind of switch places with Baron, they're going to go up head-to-head for a decisive match.
That's going to be huge.
One dude's going up and one's going down, and that could be the deciding factor for being able to break out into the top 6 and advance into the bracket later. We've also got Tim playing Loe in the final matchup today, but we've got DK versus Islaw, the 4th match that doesn't include 10. But who wants to watch DK and Islaw? Only everyone in the world. Another amazing top player matchup. Yeah,
DK 3-5. He's right in the thick of things. With I think we have DK, Islaw, Baron, and who else do we have? $10 kind of in that pack of who's going to make the top 6. And these matches are very crucial for everybody. I think these in the middle, especially week number 4, it's kind of getting your foot, set into where you want to be. So you control your own destiny per se. You don't want somebody else to have to lose for you to be able to win.
Right.
Let's just say they run the table or they run, 5 out of the next 6 games. You don't really control that happening. But if you're ahead of them, it kind of gives you a little breathing room, kind of gives you a little flexibility, maneuverability, and allows you to take a deep breath and then move on to the next matches.
You can only control your own matches. You can't control how other players do. There's no influence that you have over their games unless you help their opponent practice against them or something like that. But at the end of the day, all you can worry about is your own win-loss column. And I think that is what we're going to be looking at right now. Let's head over to the main stage where Trid has got some wisdom bombs to drop on us.
Thank you very much, Woody and chat. And we are going to take a quick moment just to recap some of the bands we've seen so far today. And of course, I don't like to do these things alone, so I brought Liam, or Thunder CR, however you want to pronounce it, to join me again. So Liam, we were talking about the bands as the matches have been going on. We've been watching it over in the gallery and seeing how things have been going on. Obviously, what are the biggest, or the most banned cards, shall we say, this week?
Well, P.E.K.K.A. is by far the most banned card, being banned half of all matches.
Half of all matches. That's 3 matches.
Yeah.
People may not have been watching the entire show, so it's been banned 3 times. But then there's also been some other consistent bans as well. I believe Balloon has 2 of its own.
Yep, Balloon was also banned in the same matches that P.E.K.K.A. was as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And if I recall correctly, there was a rage ban from Nemsensei. Now,
Yeah.
we talked about this a little bit because we thought this was a little bit weird because Nemsensei has been like the only player to play rage. Most people, or some people would say he's trolling, he's having a little bit of a goof or a gaff. But can you think of any logical reason that Nemsensei would take that off the board?
I think it's just to put his opponent off. Surgical Goblin was never going to play a Rage deck.
Yeah.
In his interview a few weeks ago, he even mentioned that he would never play Rage in a competitive battle. So, no, not much reasoning behind it.
I mean, I guess so. When I've spoken to other players about what do you ban against Surgical Goblin, people are just like, I have no idea. He'll just play anything and win anyway. But Baron took the strategy and said, I will ban his most played card, which is Princess. So he just took that off the board. But maybe the Rage ban is just like, maybe I can get inside his head a little bit,
Yeah.
But one of the previous bans I saw, I thought was quite interesting, was the Electro Wizard and the Inferno Tower ban on that one. How do those 2 bans, do you think, shape up the deck usage in those matches?
Well, Electro Wizards, it's not a win condition by all means, but it's in a lot of decks, especially control and beatdown decks. So banning Electro Wizard makes it a lot harder to defend things like Miner, Hog Rider, Giant, whatever.
Yeah.
So it's just a very vague, safe ban that Surgical Goblin chose.
And what about the Inferno Tower? Obviously, that does well against the beefier units as well.
Inferno Tower stops logbait nearly entirely, and it also increases P.E.K.K.A. and Golem and all beatdown decks.
And on top of that as well, this is a fun fact that Woody was doing. Woody likes to do ladder screen caps or screenshots of how the card usage is going. He was pointing out to me, it's a little sneak preview, sorry Woody, that there's a lot of logbait usage going on at the moment. Obviously Inferno Tower is a key part of the logbait deck. Lots of people in ladder swapping out that logbait and swapping it for Tornado in that deck as well. Do you have any insight into why that would be the case?
Well, Tornado is one of the safest card choices, especially in ladder, because in ladder you can tie matches out very easily with the 1 minute overtime. And there's not much beatdown on ladder because beatdown usually has P.E.K.K.As and Golems, which are epics, which are quite hard to level up. So Tornado is a very safe choice, and it synergizes well with Princess.
Brilliant. And so with the E-Wiz ban being red flags, are there any of the other, I don't know how much play they get, but is there any other cards that you are surprised haven't been banned so far in the Crown Championship?
Well, cards like Poison and Fireball that are in nearly every deck, you could put your opponent off guard by banning them and maybe taking out 2 out of 4 of their decks or whatever.
And so if you were to play on ladder, okay, and someone was to ban a card against you, what card do you think would screw you over the most?
Probably Hog Rider, just
Hog Rider?
because I only play Hog on ladder.
To take that off the board and
Yeah.
drop 1,000 trophies straight away. Yeah. Well, thanks very much for joining us, Liam.
problem.
We're going to throw to a quick video just to have a catch up with how Loe's getting on with the Crown Championship.
My name is Badr and my in-game name is Loai. My aim in Clash Royale is to be one of the best. I am from Iraq. I was born in Mosul. Life in Iraq was a little bit tough, and because of that I'm really grateful for my parents that they decided to move to Germany. Moving was difficult at start, but it really helped me to learn new languages, new cultures, meet new people, and we have a bright future here. When I started playing Clash Royale, I named myself Bornoche. After a couple of months, I stopped playing, so my brother used my account and he changed my name to Loai. I was stuck with it because I didn't have a name change. My favorite Clash Royale cards are the Three Musketeers because I really like cycle decks and it's really fun to play. My parents raised me really good, so it's really important for me to make them proud. With good practice with my teammates, I think I have a good chance to win the CCGS. My name is Loai and I'm coming for the crown.
Welcome back to the Crown Championship. Here I'm going to stand by the LED wall, but I need to address something very quickly, and I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but due to unforeseen circumstances, $10 and Donkey Kong have been disqualified from today's matches. They are unable to complete their matches today. As such, due to the way the schedule works, we've actually seen our last series of the day. We're going to have to end the broadcast a little bit earlier than usual today. Hopefully everything will be back in order for next week's broadcast. But here are the matches so far. Obviously, we had the Nemsensei Adam matchup. That was an auto win for Nemsensei. You got Soking versus Loupanji. Loupanji actually taking a win against Soking, which is quite impressive. Baron getting the default win. Islaw again against Nemsensei. You saw the 2-0 or the vengeance from that Team Queso matchup where Surgical Goblin took down Loupanji. But then moving on to the next series of matches. Baron takes down Loupanji as well. Gets himself another win. Surgical Goblin, the rematch from Spring, and it delivered. Nemsensei actually took a game off of Surgical Goblin, but if you looked at his performance from the season, you wouldn't have been expecting that. And you got the default win for Soking, Surgical Goblin, Baron. Baron was the only person to beat Surge in Spring, came close yet again, so a lot of close misses here for Surgical Goblin this week. And obviously we have the forfeited matches, so it results in a default win for certain players. So Soking picks himself up a 2-0 off the back of that. And then we go into match 11. Donkey Kong, obviously, he's forfeited to Islaw. That's another free win. Baron, free win. Loe, free win. It's a very Donkey Kong and Tin stacked end of day. Anyway, that's going to have a look at see how the leaderboard shapes up after those matches. Cass has already talked about it. It's going to be Surgical Goblin, I believe, sat at the top with a 9-2 record, actually tied with his partner, Soking. So, Islaw, Loupanji, Loe, Baron still in the top 6, so there's not been any real movement from the leaderboard this week, which is quite surprising, to be honest. Donkey Kong, he bumps up a space. He's actually knocked down Tin further into the depths because he's picked up an extra loss than Donkey Kong has. But 1 and 10, it's not something to be proud of at the moment. Unfortunately, hopefully he can pick it up in the following weeks. But looking at the position, Donkey Kong gets a couple of wins under his belt. He can get back into the blue, but as the weeks go on, it's just going to keep getting worse and worse for these players in the lower section. They need to pick up wins, get into the blue, and get themselves into a position where they can start to climb up and get themselves into the finals section. But anyway, Will, thank you very much for joining us here at Clash Royale Crown Championship. Like I mentioned at the beginning of the show, we have that discount code for you. It should be around here. Go ahead and plug that in. You've still got time to get your items from the store, anything you like. You've probably seen the P.E.K.K.A statue or the baby dragon over there. But thank you very much for joining us in the Clash Royale Crown Championship broadcast. We have got Latin America tomorrow, North America the day after, and we're also going to be joining us again next week. So thank you to all the casters. Thank you to all the production. Sorry about the DQs. We'll see you next week.